Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for everybody who's coming in to view the game. I'm going to give you a round of introductions, both with the players and both with how I'm going to run this game and what this game is, and then we'll start the game. So here we go, guys. This is a Pathfinder adventure path called Kingmaker, and what a Pathfinder adventure path is it's like a Dungeons and Dragons game. It's in fact literally going to use the D&D 3.5 rules with a bunch of house rules piled on top. And they called that Pathfinder First Edition, and that's what we're going to be using for our rule set. A Dungeons and Dragons session I probably don't need to explain in this day and age, but basically we're going to role play. I'm going to be the dungeon master. I'm the guy at the top of the video pile that you see on the side waving at you, and I'm going to run the adventure. And I've got the module in front of me. I can tell the players what they see in the world, what they hear in the world, and they can then tell me how they want to react to the world. Their job is to play characters, which they will introduce. And as they go through the world, they've got character sheets, they've got stats. And so each character has strengths and weaknesses. They can't solve every problem on their own. That's why there's a team of 4. We'll let them go at it and see if they can cooperate and work together in order to get some victories. And my job is basically to run this module that I've put in front of you. And the module is basically a series of hurdles. It's, hey, there's this problem. Here's this other problem. Here's this other problem. Here's this monster. Here's this puzzle. Here's this riddle. And the players will they'll have all these things thrown at them, and they'll try to figure out what to do with it. And my job will basically be to adjudicate. I'll figure out if they did a good job or not. We'll probably try to rely on math for a lot of it. We'll do some dice rolls, and we'll let them go forward. And hopefully they get a victory at the end of the entire process. You can see on screen right now, not my players, but the viewers can see on screen right now, we have the cover of Pathfinder Adventure Path Part 1 of 6. Each adventure path gets you through probably about 3 or 4 levels. And by the end of the adventure path, you probably are going to be at level 17-ish, I would guess. This process will probably take us, I don't know, a few years. It's not a short commitment. We'll see how it goes. Typically, you start a adventure like this at level 1. We're going to be starting a little higher at level 3. Give them a little extra power. I will tell you more about that in a moment. Having said that, let me introduce the viewers, at least, away from this main screen I've got them on, and we'll show you. There we go. This is the tool that we're going to be using. It's called Roll20. And you can see I've got my my characters over here on the sides, and it looks like we need to actually fix some of their icons, but these are the little icons or tokens that will be used for the players, and they can move on a grid across a map. And so we will let the players control their little tokens. They're going to move across maps that I throw at them and, battle fictional fantasy monsters and the whole 9 yards. So having given you an introduction to the idea of what we're doing, let me give you an introduction to all the different players with their characters. We'll kind of work our way down the list. We've got Geek of Fury is second in this chain of videos, then Shadow, then Zankt, and then Gawain at the bottom of that list. And what we're going to do is we'll let each player introduce themselves as they are in the real world, and then we'll let them introduce their character as their character is in the game world. So let's start with Geek of Fury. Go ahead and give us your whole opening roll.
Hey there, folks. I'm Geek of Fury. I'm a streamer and avid Pathfinder First Edition player. You can find me at twitch.tv/geek_of_fury. I stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'm a variety streamer. I play all kinds of games, but I focus mostly on video game RPGs. As far as my character, I'm going to be playing a half-orc gentleman by the name of Storbjorn Snoskred, who is from the land of Lenorm Kings, and he is a traveling musician and a warrior, and he found a handbill in Galt about this call for champions, and now is hastily heading north to I believe it's Restov, to partake in this new endeavor to find his legacy and find his fortunes.
Excellent. Let's move right down the list and go to Shadow. Shadow, give us an introduction for you and your character.
Okay, hi, my name is Shadow. I guess I would also call myself an avid Pathfinder First Edition player. I've been playing since I was a wee baby, like 13. I've been a nerd for a long time. I am going to be playing a custom race that Old Man Fallout was so kind as to let me get away with. I'm half pixie, half gnome, and my backstory is that I am a big sister of a big family, and my mom is a traveling bard who keeps dropping off babies with me every decade or so. But since my father is a pixie, I've always kind of wanted to go out into the stolen lands and see if I can find him, but I've always been home with my family, so maybe now I'll get to go out into the stolen lands and I'll leave my little shop behind where I make potions and help out the people of the town sometimes.
Beautiful, perfect. Okay, that's Shadow. Next in the list, we have Zankt. Zankt, let us know about you and your critter.
Sure thing. Hello, I am Zankt. I am not a content creator. I actually work in biotech IRL, I'm a part of this family because I know Old Man Fallout and Shadow from real life back when I used to live in the Bay Area and when they used to live in the Bay Area. We have all fled.
We have.
Yeah. My character is Zephyros. My character is Zephyros, and he is an Oni spawn tiefling who has a little bit of a revenge bent. The short story as to why he's going into this adventure is because he and his family lived in the remote wilds of the stolen lands, and his, let's say, stepfather was killed by bandits, and they had to flee to Restov and scrounge a life together. And he is a big burly guy. He wants to take some revenge on the bandits, and this is the opportunity.
There we go. There we go. And last but not least, we have the legendary new Gawain. This will be Gawain's first time gaming with me. Gawain, I hope it's okay, my guy. I hope you live through this. Gawain, give us an introduction for yourself and your character.
I'm Gawain. This will be my first time playing Pathfinder beyond just a couple of one-shots, so I hope I don't slow anyone down here. My character is Alyssa Medved. She is kind of a noble with an asterisk. She and her brother are kind of the family embarrassments and were sent packing to Restov from Medved's lands in Brevoy's north to study with the sword lords. And while her brother is super enthused with that, she's not. She kind of just wants to get away from the sword lords, her family, pretty much everything else. She's a little impulsive, so she hears about this expedition to the stolen lands and is all on board.
All right, great, perfect. So having said that, I have a little bit more that I should say about the game. One of the things the viewers may be curious about. Well, first of all, we should probably say what's going on with each of these characters, just in terms of gamey stuff. For anybody who's interested, I should talk about why they're third level and what that means, and also how they're going to go from third level being one certain thing into fifth, sixth, seventh level being a completely different thing. We're starting the game at third level, which increases the power level of the game quite a bit. However, we did that for a reason. Two reasons, actually. The first was the whole lore of this campaign is that it is kind of an invasion or a war on a location called the Stolen Lands. And the reason that the Stolen Lands needs to be high powered is the idea behind it is nobody can keep it. Nobody can claim it. People keep going into the Stolen Lands to try to own the Stolen Lands, and they always get stolen back or stolen away. Somebody from a different country takes it, or the creatures, beasts, monsters, fae, bandits, everything else that currently live in there, they claim it back. So the land is very hard to hold. And I personally had a difficult time believing that a bunch of first level greenhorns were going to be the ones who just magically took it. So the whole plot of the game to me seemed implausible. And I thought, well, I need to ratchet the power up of these people, even just a little bit, just to make it a little more plausible. But then the second thing is that Shadow has often wanted to start not at first level, and Shadow also has wanted to start with flight. So she's pulled off both those things, kind of.
You messed up. The first ever character you let me play in your game was a little flying, adorable fey creature, and I've wanted that again ever since. So.
Yeah. So what we did then is when we brought him in at third level, there were certain things, certain powers that each person is going to get, and Shadow is going to miss out on a couple things in order to gain her flight. I typically tend to think that flight is a little overpowered for first level. I don't mind if it comes in at 5th level when everybody's getting the fly spell, 6th level, that kind of thing. But for her to have it early, we had to have her give something up, which I'm going to explain to you guys now. We have 2 point systems in this game. And the first point system is called hero points. The second point system is called narrative points. Hero points will persist throughout the entire campaign for years. Narrative points will persist only for module 1 and 2, and each player is only going to get one of them, except for Shadow, who will get none of them. Let me explain how they work. Hero points can be earned by the players whenever they level up and turn in their character sheet to me so I can review the sheet. Review the sheet, make sure everything is good. A hero point does something small, but heroic. For example, it will give you 1 extra action, even if it's not your turn. So if the players or the characters get into a dire situation, they might start blowing through any hero points they have in order to do something outrageously difficult in order to get away or salvage the situation in some way. They can get an extra action, they can get extra move, they might be able to cast an extra spell, that kind of thing. It's something small, but it's something that is unusual, and that's a hero point. There is a second way you can use hero points, and that is if you have 2 hero points, you can burn 2 at once. Typically, you can't do 2 at once, but in one case, you can burn 2 at once, and that is if you're dead. If someone hits you with a final blow and it actually takes you to death, you can burn 2 hero points to salvage the situation. Now, the hero points are not a guarantee. If that happens, it will just barely salvage you, and then all sorts of things can ruin it, but it's at least a chance. Now that you guys know hero points, here's the narrative points that will be assisting with the game. A narrative point allows you to change lore. It's very different from a hero point. A hero point might get you an action in an emergency. A narrative point lets you change the world in some way. If a player says, I'm a great dragon tamer, and I come into the game being able to tame dragons, well, all they have is what's on their sheet. They get a certain set of skills. If they put all their points into skills that might help them with dragons, great. But if they didn't, then they didn't, and they can't. So it just depends on the sheet only, typically in my games. The narrative point will allow them to tie potentially their backstory into the game some way. Our easiest example of that is with Gawain, because Gawain has taken a feat that is in the module, or a trait that's in the module, which states that he's a Medved. And that is a noble family that is in Restov, or it's not in Restov. Restov is the city. It's in Brevoy, which is the country. And it allows him to be a noble somehow, tied into the story a little bit. And during the course of the first 2 modules, he can burn that narrative point at any time to pull that forward if he wants to, and say, I need to unleash my backstory on people. I need to unleash something on people in order to make an impression or do something good. You might do other things with it too. For example, some of the players here have backstories that involve families that are in the world. Typically, the families that are in the world, I don't mess with. They don't come up very much. We're on an adventure. We don't worry about those backstory families. But if, for example, they are desperate for a place to crash and they need safekeeping and so on, they might have a story that they want to unleash with narrative points to say, my family has a safe room. My family has this other stuff. I've got to get all this help. We need all this stuff right now. And they might be able to work that into the story. Now, narrative points can't be so disruptive that they wreck the story, and they're not a win button. So we'll negotiate back and forth when the time comes and make sure that they work out well for everybody. But there they are. Having said that, we have covered third level a little bit. We've covered the narrative points a little bit. I want to say one other thing about the third level stuff for our viewers. For third level, we have done one weird thing, and that is the players have NPC characters. So most of the gang that you see here is starting as warrior, expert, or aristocrat, with Shadow starting as an adept, because adepts get some spells. These are NPC classes. They aren't very good classes. So even though they're third level, they're probably more at a power level of like second and a half, something like that.
Second and a half.
Something like that. They will, over the course of the next 3 levels, as they level up, get to change that to be PC classes. And so they're going to quickly like blossom into the real characters they want to be. And so that should be an interesting change over time. Here we are at the start of Kingmaker, and let's find out how Kingmaker is going to open for these guys. Let me show them the invitation. We'll have one of them read it aloud, and then we'll carry on. So here you go, guys. Hopefully, it just popped up on your screens.
Let's see. The Sword Lords of Restov call all comers to participate in a great competition with lordly rewards. Archery, jousting, dueling, feats of endurance and strength, magic, godly arts. 15th of Callistrel in Restov outskirts, as designated by sign and tout.
Hey, not bad, actually. Okay,
I
okay.
can read. It's exciting.
There we go. So this notice has been
That was a
plastered
hero
up.
point, by the way.
No.
Hey! 1/3 of a hero point. 1/3 of a hero point.
This sign has been plastered up all around Restov and even around some of the neighboring cities. There are people who have gone out into the world, and they are now riding out with these signs, pasting them up, posting them up, handing them out. And this is, in fact, how most of you will get it. Is you're either living in Restov, the town, or near Restov, except for Geek of Fury's character. Geek of Fury's character is not nearby, but he is literally going to have the fortuitous encounter of meeting one of these people riding around with these handouts, and he'll get handed out, and he'll head his way toward the event. So that's the initial idea, and then I did want to do one other thing. I'm going to put this on screen for probably for
Exciting.
everyone. Let's have our first roll of the game. The roll that you're going to be doing, you can do this even if you don't have ranks in it, but you're going to get capped at 10. So this is a knowledge check.
Joy.
It's going to be knowledge geography, and you can all make that roll. But if you don't have ranks, we'll cap you at 10.
Ooh, I did real bad.
Geography.
Yeah, the best I'm going to be
All right.
able to get is...
That's about my real life knowledge geography check as well, actually. Hey, you got the perfect number, Zang. Good job.
It'll be my one good, decent roll of the day.
Of course, it's how it always goes. Okay, Zank is playing Zephyros. Zephyros did knowledge geography, untrained, got capped at 10, but 10 is what you need. Okay, so I got Storbjorn here. Storbjorn is doing the same thing. Knowledge check, untrained, but gets a 10. He's capped at 10. Perfect. However, our other two is Shadow and Alyssa. Shadow and Alyssa. Alyssa is being played by Gawain. Those two don't make it. So I thought I was going to show this to everyone. I'm not going to show this to everyone.
No, I like
So
to see
instead, let's pick a couple people. So we're going to give this to Zankt and Geek of Fury. Save and show. So Zankt and Geek of Fury, hopefully this just showed up on your screen. Hopefully
Yep.
for Gawain and Shadow, it didn't.
things. I'm definitely looking at it if it did, but it didn't, so you're safe.
What this is a map. This is a map of the location that you're in. This is the whole country of Brevoy. It's nestled right underneath the Lake of Mists and Veils, And below the country you're in, Brevoy, is the Stolen Lands, kind of grayed out down south. You will note that the town of Restov is at the very bottom of the map. And that town is kind of like a border town. It's right on the edge where Stolen Lands begins. That's where all this is about to take place. You guys have now been given the handout that explains that there's going to be some great kind of lordly competition with lordly rewards. And while you don't have much more detail than what you've seen in the handout, you are free to take action because it will be for all of you. These flyers will go up many days beforehand.
Well, I think it might be nice to do a gather information check to figure out what these lordly rewards might be. That's not very specific. I want more details.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a gather information
Diplomacy,
check.
right?
It's gather information, which I think is diplomacy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll just be boring and take a 10 and get an 18.
Okay. This is our first take 10 of the game. For any
I should have
viewers,
done that for my knowledge check. Then I would have known what the world I lived in was like. That would have been nice.
yeah. Take 10s are an interesting thing for any viewer who doesn't know what this is. You've just seen them do a roll for geography, but Shadow's deciding to not roll. Why would you ever decide to not roll? Well, if you take a 10 on a die roll on a d20, you can see we've got a d20 on my screen right here, this blue d20. It's set on an 8. There's a 10 off to the side, and there's a 20 off to the side. 20 is the maximum you can roll on a d20. And 10 is kind of your mid-range. It's kind of in the middle there. And if you don't want to roll and you're willing to take a mid result, then you can declare taking a 10, and it basically says, I get something completely and thoroughly average. I'm not very good, and I'm not very bad. I'm just okay. If you're willing to take the okay-ish result, sometimes that's better than rolling because it gets you an okay-ish answer. And that might be better than, rolling and getting a bad result and failing out of something. Shadow's taking a 10. That gives you an 18, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, I have to roll like a d4. I guess it doesn't matter. I have days. It doesn't matter how many hours
Yeah.
it takes, huh?
The hours don't matter.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me what this gather info check is going to be that you get an 18 on. What are you trying to search for?
I kind of would like to. Can I search for more than one thing? I'd like
I mean, you
to
might
know.
need to do multiple rolls, but sure, you got time. What do you want?
I'd like to know what the lordly rewards might be, and I'd
Okay.
also like to see if I can get some more specifics on what the competition might entail.
Okay, give me a second roll for the competition, or another take 10, whatever you want to do.
Well, we'll be fun this time and actually roll.
Oh,
That'll be. Oh, I should have taken a 10. Only a 13 this time.
great. For my viewers, you can see 4 dice on screen, but if you look off to the side here, we really only care about one of the rolls she did. She did a diplomacy roll. That's the gather information roll. That's her schmoozing people, and she gets a 13 for this roll. So you have an 18 when you took 10. You have a 13 when you rolled. The 18 is for you to figure out what the lordly rewards are. The 13 is for the other details. For the 18 with the lordly rewards, you ask around. I would probably even suggest that you don't roll the d4 to see how many hours you take on this, because I think it's probably going to max out. You're going to ask around in town for a long time, trying to get anything out of anyone. And eventually what happens is you come across someone who says they don't want you prying into the details, but what they will say is that the end result of whatever it is they're doing will be lordly enough that people may actually end up being lords. So they don't want to say how exactly that might be the case. In your most cynical, your character might think, oh, they're just giving out a title that's BS. In your less cynical, you might think to yourself, like, well, okay, so maybe that's just like a treasure chest full of coins, like that gives you roughly the equivalent of what a lord might have, but that's still an insane amount of money to a common person. And then in your most hopeful, of course, you'd be like, wow, are we getting like deeds to land and money and funding, and like and maybe a keep or a castle or something, and like in your most hopeful, you could run away with that and go crazy.
I mean, I like castles.
right? So so that's kind of the idea you got so far. And whether you as a player want to go with the most cynical view of that or the most hopeful view of that or something in between, your call.
Okay.
For your 13, remind me what the 13 is going to do.
I was just wondering if I could get any more information about what it says they're like competition or something like that.
Right.
I was wondering if I could get any more information about like what the competitions might entail.
Sure. That one you do get a tiny bit of detail on.
Oh, even though I did badly.
even with the 13, you got a tiny bit of a detail. I think what will probably happen is someone will point out across the map and say, look, there's all this stuff happening outside of town. There's like a hubbub, and there's things being built. And if you go look, they will not let you get close. But we can say you do the best that you could do as a third level person, trying to not be obvious and upset the people who are behind this. So maybe you, I don't know, sit on a giant wall that looks down on whatever they're doing, something like that, from a distance. You do your best to get info. From what you can see, archery is literally massive targets.
Okay.
Massive targets with an unusually large number of rings to the targets.
Rings? Okay. Oh,
yes.
like rings. Okay.
The circles that appear on an archery target sheet. There are
not like
way
Sonic
more.
rings, but
Correct.
yeah, rings on a target. Okay.
Yes. These there are many of them. And so it looks like it's far more detailed than you'd normally expect.
Okay.
You do see some kind of I guess flattened earth with large wooden barricades area being set up. And in fact, there are two areas that have been flattened out, and it looks like they're setting up barriers. And I'll give you both of them. One has some big long runs to it. Looks like a jousting area. It's possible that horses will arrange themselves on either side and then charge at each other and do actual jousting competitions. Then there is another area which looks like almost like cage matches. It looks like a huge area of farmland that's being set up, and there are pens being built out of wood, and the pens are in lines and rows, many. It looks like they're setting up for like say 100 like penned in fenced areas that might do something.
Okay.
And then you don't see anything
areas.
necessarily about feats of endurance and strength. Like you don't see like anything like, one of the typical competitions for a feats of strength would be like a caber,
like chucking something heavy or something.
right? A caber toss,
Okay.
I think is what it's called. A caber toss is, I think, like a tree toss. Essentially, you get a big, huge log that's a tree trunk and see who can toss it and how far. You don't see anything like that happening, so you don't know what's going on with feats of endurance and strength. And then for magic and godly arts, you don't see anything about that either. However, you do see one thing, and that is, it looks like there's almost like a course being set up, a course that you might run through. They're flooding an area. They're like I can't say they're trucking in water. They don't have trucks. They're carting in water, and they're flooding an area. So it looks like there's going to be some sort of
joy. I love to swim.
some sort of competition. That's about all you're going to get with your 13 and sort of, trying to peer in on it.
I'm very happy with that. Just for flavor, can I say that I like flew in stealthily and like peeked in and watched stuff?
Oh, you can fly, can't you?
Yes.
You could do it. You'd have to be quite high overhead to have them not shaking their fists at you. But from a quite far off bird's eye view, okay, yeah, works.
Just for flavor, I just think it'd be
absolutely. Now Zankta popped up with something he wanted to do. What do you want?
Yeah, a similar but more focused question, which is to say, can I find out from anyone, perhaps one of the people that's hosting the flyers, are the entrants able to enter into multiple competitions or one? And if I can't find out that way, I'm happy to just go to wherever you register and ask there, and also register.
Right. Well, first give me a diplomacy check. Let's see what you get for that. Don't forget you can take 10 just like Shadow did if you need to.
Yeah, that would still be an 8.
Okay.
Oh.
I do not have people skills, so
don't forget we are way ahead of the competition. If you want to try like 3 rolls, we can say you spend an entire day asking and re-asking if you want.
All right, I rolled.
You already got a 12. That's not bad.
Yep.
So you are going to get one of your answers almost immediately, but the other answer is going to be a little bit harder to come by. So tell me the second part of your question, because that's the part I'm going to answer immediately. What was that again?
I honestly don't remember. As far as I know, it was just one question. Can we enter more than one competition?
And then registering. That was the second part. So we'll do the registering first.
Okay.
The registering is really easy. They tell you can't. They say what
cannot?
You cannot.
Okay.
In order to participate in this competition, you'll do what it says at the bottom of the paper that you've been handed, which is you're going to go to Restov's outskirts on the 15th of Calistral and follow the signs, follow the touts.
Oh, you mean cannot register?
Just show up.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Show up on the day. Yep. Be ready to go. Now, the other part of your question was what?
Can people enter into multiple events?
Right. The touts don't really know. They're just handed piles of stacks of paper and told to go distribute them.
Okay.
But if we take your 12 and use it to ask around, what you're going to hear back is nobody knows. These guys are keeping it really close to the vest. Like this is
all right.
Secret stuff. They're treating it like a top secret mission.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That works. Thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to do anything before I do the next part?
Actually, I did need to do a bit of shopping, but
okay.
I need to pick up a mandolin, which is going to be my instrument, and I'm probably going to spend the money to get a masterwork one, and then I'm going to pick up 6 potions of Cure Light Wounds.
Great.
Because that, during our test run, was the spot where I screwed the pooch.
Right.
No healing.
That sounds great. Okay. I love it.
I would actually like to try and find something. I want to buy a wand of recharge innate magic that is partially charged, if possible.
Yes. So for my viewers, this is something I do in my campaigns. And basically, when you want to buy wands, magic wands, in a game like this, you typically buy them fully charged at 50 charges per wand, and you pay full price. I allow my players to basically gather information checks or diplomacy checks to wander the world, talk to people, see if they can find someone who's got a wand they want to part with and it has partial charges. And generally, the better you do with the result, the more likely you are to have multiple copies of the partially charged wands. And you want to do well with that kind of result, because if you can find multiple copies, they'll be at different charge levels and you can cherry pick which one you want. Having said that, let's have Shadow give us a roll, since you're going to do the wand test.
Okay, here we go. Roll better this time, please.
Oh,
Hey,
you did.
I'll take it.
Okay, so with diplomacy of 19, sadly, that's about 1 shy of getting 2.
Dang.
I do have partial victories in my game. As you guys know, I do like to do, if you're 1 shy of something, then you could potentially still have some kind of good outcome. So I'm thinking a 15 will get you 1 partially charged wand, a 20 gets you 2, 25 gets you 3, 30 gets you 4, and so on. With a 19, you should have only 1. I'm going to give you a second one with your 19, but I'm going to pick the number for that one, and it's just going to be 5. So you have a wand that has 5 charges. That's your first option. And then I'm going to roll a 1d50.
A D50? See how many the other one has?
There you go. So your options are wands with 5 or wands with 17. Those are your only 2 choices.
I'm not mad at either of those. Let me figure out how much a 17 costs. I'm going to buy one or the other, but I'll figure that out myself so I can stop and the other people can talk.
Okay. I'll let you math that out while I start going into some of the other details. So on screen for my viewers, but not for the players, is the large spreadsheet setup that I have for this game, and for all the NPCs that are in this competition. So you can see a lot of them there. The concept basically is that we're going to do ranked competitions. You don't necessarily need to place first, but you do need to place well. They're looking for multiple people. They're not looking for one, which does give the players a little bit of leeway, but not a lot. They'll need to do well. And that's also partly why we've made them third level again. A few more skill points never hurts. Okay. So, gang, I'm going to fast forward you to the day of the event unless there's anything else you need to do.
I bought the 5 charges in case you're wanting to know.
Okay. You have 5 charges. Well, what is this wand of? It restore.
It's called Recharge Innate
Recharge.
Magic. It's like a gnome specific spell that
Yep.
you told me I could use since I'm half gnome. It
Yep.
lets me get the gnome spell like abilities back. So it's like it's like Prestidigitation,
Yep.
Speak with Animals, and one more that I'm forgetting right now. I'll look real fast.
Excellent.
Ghost Sounds. So if I use that wand, then I can do my little things one more time. And since one of the things was magic, I thought at least I could do Speak with Animals a couple more times if I needed to.
Beautiful. Okay, sounds great. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to buy and sell. Let me know when you're all done, and then we'll push forward.
I think I'm okay to go when everyone else is.
Yeah, I don't have any disposable income, so I'm good.
Yeah, no, I've just needed the potions and to pick up a mandolin, so that way I actually have something to play.
Did you
At least I
find the
got that.
mandolin?
No, it's just musical instrument, and it can be common or masterwork or silver. I tried to find a wooden special material that would make it harder, so it'd be harder to break. But
Yeah.
apparently, the only thing that really exists is dark wood, which makes it lighter, but not harder.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You could maybe, there's like the living wood that heals itself. So if it gets broken, it gets like 1 hit point back a day. That might be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I might have to pick that up later because I already.
I mean, you just popped into my mind.
Fair enough. I was looking for that, but I didn't see it in the list. But I guess I just missed it.
Okay, but I think we're ready for the competition, aren't we?
No, I
Yeah?
think Zank is still going. Oh no, Zank says thumbs up.
Oh, are you still shopping? I'm sorry.
Last thing I need to get are arrows, but yeah, other
Okay.
than that, I think you can start though.
Okay. All right, gang. So, for my viewers, we've put all of the characters into the public Discord, which I'm probably flashing on screen for you guys right now. And so you can go check the characters. They're going to be playing through the game with the characters they've built, and they have no idea what these competitions entail other than the little quick bit of info they got right now at the start of the game, which means they can't custom tailor their characters to these competitions, which means they could in fact be relatively difficult. There's good news about that, which is kind of on screen for the viewers, and that is most of the competitions you are about to hear about are ranked with the top 4 contestants pulled from each competition. However, there is a brawl and a persuasion event. Those events are binary. You either win or you lose. It's possible for all people in those competitions to all win or all lose. And if that happens, they just have to accept that they've got a pile of winners or a pile of losers. If they have too many winners, they'll find ways to cherry pick out some of the top performers. But they're going to be really loosey-goosey with some of this stuff. If they get the top 4 from most of the competitions, and then they do the brawl and they get the top 5 or top 6 because multiple people have won, more people won than they expected, then they're okay with that. They will tell you guys up front that in the end, they expect to have roughly 20 to 30 winners from all of this. And those winners will form groups. And we'll talk more about what happens with those groups in a moment. So, let me describe the world to you now as this competition begins to take place. You show up the day of, and there are indeed signs. Everything is leading everyone out of town. The town is kind of emptying out, except for guards, because the guards are paranoid that people will start pillaging the town while everybody's outside of town. So guards everywhere. But aside from that, everybody's starting to pour out of town and go to the surrounding farmland outside. Signs are leading people to a mass area for congregating. And there are literally hundreds and then thousands of people there, including large numbers of contestants who are decked out in either heavy armors, hoping to do brawling, or with horses in regalia, or there are people there in very lightly armored, expecting to do some leaping and bounding or something. Nobody knows exactly what's about to go down, so people are just sort of in whatever they think they're best at, and they're like, I hope this works out. They start walking you through the competitions. I'm going to give you an idea of what each competition is. I will let you know, guys, that they are they're not letting anyone get near the competitions themselves, which means you're going to have a hard time doing things like getting some kind of investigation check on the area, doing spells on the area. It'd be very difficult to do that. They keep everybody at like quite a distance from each competition area. And one of the questions you had is now answered, and that is, as they begin to introduce the competition, they note that each contestant is going to have to pick one, and they are going to do something insane, which makes the whole crowd buzz, and that is, they're going to run all competitions all at once at the same time. The whole damn thing will run over the course of literally 5 minutes from start to finish. It's done and over. Because of this, people are flipping out, and you're, without needing to do any kind of check, you're going to hear people going like, how can I bet on everything if I can't be everywhere at once? So people start trying to rejigger their betting systems. You can hear people trying to figure out like, okay, wait, I think I can take money like this. People are calling things. I'm going to work on the jousting competition. And so there's a lot of chaos.
Can contestants put money on?
You can definitely hear people starting to figure out how to organize betting. So there is definitely going to be betting here.
I'm getting in on that.
Absolutely.
Aye.
Low wisdom, baby.
There's the invitation again.
I mean, you got to play your character, you know? So I'm going to describe each of these 6 competitions. I'll tell you roughly how they work, but I can't give you all the details. Each competition has kind of a secret to it, which I can't go over. But here we go. We'll start with archery. They walk you to the archery range, and you realize they show you up front, close and personal. They have one of the targets right there for people to look at. It is a giant packed hay, round archery target. However, this archery target stands 7 feet tall. It is thick as hell. They have carts to move them around, and then once they get them into position, they dump them off the cart and line them up. These targets are way far away. In fact, they are, I believe, 1 or 2 range increments out. Let's see, what does it say?
Oh, damn.
The target is at the first range increment, so all shots are made at -2. So the idea here is, for the archery competition, is they're going to let you take a couple shots at a target with your bow, whatever you've brought in. They don't provide bows for you. They're not trying to do fairness here in a certain sense. And what I mean by that is they're trying to gauge how you will perform as an archer in the real world with your real gear, which means if you come in with a +5 bow, you can use your +5 bow and you'll do better than most people, assuming you don't roll badly. So you're going to use your own gear. You're going to take 2 shots at the target. It does not have to be a bow. It can be any ranged anything, including spears, javelins, that kind of thing. But that would be miserable because, as you guys probably know, the range increments for hurled objects, they're very, very bad. And so you're going to be at like a range increment penalty of like -10 if you're using a thrown object. But with a bow or a crossbow, you're at -2. With a sling, I believe you're at -4. And with other things, you'd be at much worse. So that's the idea. Super far off targets. They're going to see who can make these shots. The whole competition is just going to be dudes lined up, taking 2 shots and moving off to the side, and then another bunch of dudes line up, take 2 shots, run off to the side. They'll track it. You get to keep your best of 2. And there you go. Really simple. That's the archery. The next one that we will do is the brawl. This brawl is sprawling. When they bring you to the brawl area, it looks like fenced-in farming area, kind of. It's just a bunch of fenced-in square areas. They're about, I think, 30 or 40 feet wide each. And it's just 40-foot square after 40-foot square after 40-foot square after 40-foot square, all in lines just going off. There's over 100 of these squares. And their idea is, if you think you're great at martial combat, up close and personal combat, then you're going to get into one of these pens. You're going to stay in that fenced area, and you're going to brawl against someone or something until either they win or you win. And again, it's going to be your own gear. And this one causes a big murmur through the crowd because they're like, how murderous is this going to get? Like, this sounds bad. And you can see some people who showed up in like thick, like full plate armor, they're just like grinning. They're just like, this is what I'm built for. They will note for the brawlers that if you're going to brawl, this is one of those binary competitions where you either win or you don't. It's possible for them to have 100 winners here instead of just 4. They'll figure out what happens if they have too many winners, but they don't think they will. And they will try to warm the hearts and allay the concerns and fears of the viewers by noting the third competition. The third competition is healing. And how this works is anyone who's any kind of healer will get to step forward and work with their on-site healers. They have some callers. The callers are going to be up in the air watching all the brawls. They will have healers stationed at various points. The callers will call to healers to run forward and aid people who fall over in the brawls, hopefully quickly enough that nobody actually dies. People go unconscious, nobody actually dies. And the way you quote unquote win in the healers competition is just the 4 people who heal the most, the best, the longest, they'll be our winners from the healing competition. So 4 winners in healing, and it's literally just math of who can heal the most. There will be plenty and plenty and plenty of bodies to heal. People are going to go down left and right. There's hundreds and hundreds of people who will try this. People will go down left and right.
So much for my 51 charges.
They take you to the next competition. The next competition, Shadow's character kind of got to see this a little bit. There's a very long run with sort of like a lined fence in between it. It looks like it would be jousting where 2 people would face each other on horseback, and then they would joust against each other. However, they point out that you will not be jousting against each other, and you will note that there's more like 20 lanes for jousting. Why are there so many lanes for jousting? Because they have arranged to have a ring competition where they show you there are these very large rings about 2 feet around, and then about 1 foot around, and then about 6 inches around, and then about 4 inches around, 2 inches around, 1 inch around.
Oh, dang.
And the idea is they're all arranged in sort of sized order, starting from biggest to smallest. Those who want to joust will be attempting to capture all rings. And they will run you guys in a mass of like 20 riders at a time. They'll just be like, go. And you'll just go through and try to get all rings, each one increasing in difficulty for targeting purposes. The next option that they have is the obstacle course. And the obstacle course is, I mean, maybe insane and maybe not. I think it just depends on how capable you are at this stuff. For some people, they're going to kind of roll their eyes at this and go cakewalk, and some others are going to go like, oh my God, the challenge of my life. They show you from far off a massive area that they've put together, kind of man-made. It's kind of what Shadow saw with the water. There is an artificial cliff that has been built out over some farmland with a huge platform across the top. They tell you that all contestants will start on that massive platform that is raised up in the air. You will run toward a gigantic ring. The ring that you're running toward is only about 12 feet wide. And there will potentially be over 100 contestants for this situation, for this competition, which means 100 people will be fanned out across the width of this platform and then all winnow in and run toward a 12-foot wide ring, dive through the ring into the water down below, swim past the water back up onto land, and then you do a run, climb, and get to the final finish line. Now, they note there are a couple special things to keep in mind here. One of the things to keep in mind is you only get, this is the only competition that is kind of timed. You're basically going to get 1 minute or 10 rounds to get through the whole thing. That means at most you're getting 10 skill checks. If you fail, for example, to swim on one of your turns, you can just try to swim on the next turn and the next turn. But it's possible if you suck at swimming, you could fail all 10 of your turns in swimming and just you're stuck in the water at the end of the competition. In addition, they note that if you finish early at the podium near the end where you're going to run across the finish line, there is a treasure chest. The chest is potentially difficult to get into in ways they won't say. But they note that if you can get to the finish line early, there is someone counting down time at the end. And so if you feel safe and like you'd like to, you can potentially spend time on a treasure chest at the end.
That's cool.
But you do want to abandon that treasure chest before the time runs out and cross that finish line. So only the, swiftest would get to that treasure chest with time to spare, and only the best at, getting into a chest would be able to pull that off. So those are most of the competitions, but there is one last competition I have not mentioned. And this one, they take you back to the beginning where there are judges' tables. There are a pile of judges at the beginning of this competition who will be overseeing all the competitions and trying to make sure everything is fair. It is a massive competition, which means the judges' tables are also massive. There are so many tables laid out, and all of the judge tables are laid out on a large podium with stairs leading up to that podium. For the final competition option, it is a competition of persuasion, essentially. If you don't think you can do any of the other competitions, your final option is to simply stand before a table of judges and convince them to let you in anyway. However you might do that. They have left that very open-ended. They will note one thing, which is intimidation and violence on judges is not going to be the way you do it. If you want to do something that involves martial art, combat, that kind of thing, if you want to do something like, scary and brawlery, something like that, you'd be in the other competitions. So this competition is going to be for people who basically can negotiate their way into winning. They've put this in place because they tell you that potentially people who work with this competition may need that kind of skill set going forward. So they're gonna let people have at it if they think they can do it. But they will only be taking a handful of potential victors there. So those are your 6 competitions. Archery is 2 shots. Healing is just how much you can heal. They'll have options for you. Persuasion is standing in front of the judges and giving it your best shot. The brawl is martial combat. Jousting is horse riding and attempting to work with a lance. And the obstacle course is a lot of running, jumping, swimming, climbing, and potentially lockpicking or whatever else. So you guys each get to pick what you want to do. They'll all run in concurrently, so you'll have a hard time helping each other, but you can cherry pick the one that's best for you. And I'll turn this over to the players now. You guys can talk about it and see what you want to do.
Well, my bestest bet is probably the healing one. I've got a couple healing spells memorized, a bunch of potions, and a wand, so that's probably my best bet.
Shadows
It's
got yours?
smackage for me.
Melee? You're doing the melee brawl?
Melee.
Okay.
Are you saying that the melee brawl is also going on at the same time as all the other ones?
Yep.
Okay. I guess that's where I'll be too.
All right. Geek of Fury also going into the brawl, and then that leaves us with Gawain. Gawain, you think you're going to be good at anything here? What you want to do?
Well, I could go to the brawl, but I don't think that's my best play. On the other hand, that might be what my character would do. But I think we should be better suited to the persuasion test.
Okay. All right.
You do have pretty good persuasion.
Assuming that now is the convincing thing going to be going on concurrently with the rest of the events?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all
I
concurrent.
think it's just a chaotic free-for-all. All that they're literally throwing all of it at us at once.
Right.
So if we fail, there is no backup. It's just you failed.
Right.
Yeah, we better be awesome.
So I suppose at this point I should mention this was kind of hinted at in my house rules in the Discord server. If you
Okay.
had the choice to make a good character who's good at a few things or kind of a jack of all trades of a few things, or you had the opportunity to make a character who's going to be like stand out at one thing, you should make the character stand out at one thing. We're gonna put that to test here today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just thinking between the brawl and the persuasion, I was just like, well, I'm pretty good at both those. So
Mhm.
which one should I do?
Well, what's your bonus for persuasion and like your attacks look like?
Diplomacy is not +9.
Pretty good.
And my bonus to hit with my great axe, which is going to be my main weapon when I hit, is +6.
Okay. What's your damage?
My
Great axe is
damage
2d6,
is
right?
No, that's a great sword. It's
Oh,
a D12, a D12 +4.
Okay.
I have 6 potions of healing, and I have an AC right now of 16.
Honestly, you could go either way. The AC is probably the one that's might get you in trouble in the brawling, but we're
Yeah.
still low enough net level. It might not be that big of a thing. What armor are you wearing? I can't give you my shit. We're
Breastplate.
not friends yet.
Yeah, I'm wearing a breastplate because I mean, once I transition over into Scald, I can only cast medium armor. So
Okay.
eventually I'll be taking heavy armor proficiency and getting mithril full plate. But until then, I'm stuck with breastplate.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't add my dex to damage, so that kind of precludes the brawl for me. I'd be at a very big disadvantage.
You have really good diplomacy, though. I think you'll do okay in the diplomacy one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think what we'll do is run down the list. We're gonna start at the top of the video feeds, as you see there. We've got Geek of Fury at the top, then Shadow, then Zankt, then Gawain. So Geek of Fury, we're probably gonna run your competition first, then Shadows, then Zankt. So Geek of Fury, what competition do you think your character might want to try?
Well, I mean, either the brawl or the persuasion would be good, but for time's sake, I think we're going to go with persuasion.
Absolutely.
Because that's going to be basically me talk for a couple of minutes and then make a diplomacy roll,
Yeah.
as opposed to run a whole combat.
Okay.
So basically, he'll say, I mean, obviously my character's a little bit more diplomatic than I am, but let's give this a shot. My lords and ladies, I come to you as a man of charms, a man of etiquette, and a man of negotiation. Obviously, these sorts of skills will not be particularly useful most of the time during the taming, but once we have established ourselves in the stolen lands, you will need people of diplomatic skill to manage relations and to keep the peace and keep the order among the people in your new lands, in our new lands. Perhaps then it is best that gentlemen of my particular skill are best brought along on these expeditions. On top of that fact that I nearly entered the brawl. I am an honorable warrior. I was raised in the lands of the Norm Kings. And so battle is no stranger to me. I wield this great axe, and he holds it in the air with competence and confidence. And anyone who steps to me should fear for their lives. There you go.
That's your. Okay,
I
great.
submit to you I submit to you that I am among the perfect candidates to go into the stolen lands and tame the wild beast.
Excellent. All right. So I have a very humorous side note to this for the viewers, and maybe for Geek of Fury too. And that is the invitation, which I'll put back in front of you guys, says nothing about going to the stolen lands.
Oh.
Because you guys know that because you played the video game or some other thing. But
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's
you
fine.
guys have no idea that's happening yet. But we're just going to simply convert your speech into something similar because they
Okay.
have told you that this may potentially be needed for whatever's coming next, is that you might need a skill set like this. So we're just going to say that instead of you saying, it'll be needed in the stolen lands, you can say it's going to be needed in the future. This is going to be what you need moving forward. So we'll just insta convert your speech over and make it apply to the current scene.
I'm very sorry.
It's all good.
No. It was still a good speech. It was
It
still.
was
a
great.
good.
It was great. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, because you have appealed to the fact that you're also kind of a brawler or a martial type, I want you to potentially give me a check here in addition to the diplomacy check. It can't really hurt you, but you might not get the help you need depending on how you roll. So let's have you do an attack roll or an intimidate roll. You're not actually going to attack them. You're not actually going to intimidate them. But we're going to try and get a number for how actually martial and combative you look as you brandish the weapon and tell them that you're, a definite brawler. So give me one of those two, whichever's better for you. And we're going to take that roll. And if you can get a 15 or higher on that, we're going to give you a +2 to your diplomacy. Oh, you did. You did.
Nice.
Nice.
You got an 18 on that. So you're coming across as competent as you talk to them. And they're like, oh, well, maybe there's something to what he's saying. So at this point, give me the diplomacy check. You can roll, you can take 10. Whatever you do, you're going to get a +2 to it.
Ooh.
Okay, well then I think I'll go ahead and take a 10, and that'll give me a 21.
That's pretty good.
21. Okay. A 21. Now, I don't want to tell you the outcome of yours because I believe we have another persuasion person happening. Is that true, Gawain?
Yes, it is. It is very true.
All right, Gawain, I was going to do Shadow next, but let's do the persuasions all as a group. So, Gawain,
Sure.
would you give me your best attempt at this, and we'll go from there.
All right. Alyssa is going to walk up to the tables of nobility. She's a noble, and she is going to say, like, in a very almost, what's a good word for it? Conspiratorial way. Look, I have been training with the Sword Lords for months now. We all know whatever competition I entered, I would clearly be among the victors. It's just far more efficient to simply have you stamp off on me now. And it's either diplomacy or bluff, either one.
So, for that, you have a trait on your character, which is, I believe, called nobility or something like that. And it basically says you're a Medved, right?
Yes.
That's true. So do you have any ranks in knowledge nobility?
Yes, I do.
So give me a knowledge nobility roll. This will not give you a +2, but it may help you in a certain way, which I'll tell you after the roll.
Okay. Wow, that one.
Oh,
Oh
Ooh, that hurts.
no. Ugh.
Okay, so here's the bad news. the leaders are not taking let me pass by birthright or let me pass because I'm nobility as any kind of indication of anything good, which means unlike Geek of Fury, you're going to have to make your diplomacy check at a -2 instead of a +2.
No.
Yes.
Damn.
So give me your roll or take 10, but sadly you will have to take a -2 to your result.
All right. Well, let's see. With a plus this, if I take 10
Yep.
on a bluff
Mm-hmm.
with a -2, are these humanoids? I assume.
You have many humans. Yes, I mean they're all humanoids. There are many humans, a couple elves, and a couple others. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, it would be a 19.
19. Okay. Okay.
Which I guess I will.
Great. So, after the two of you are done, sadly neither of you pass, I believe. Let me take a
No.
look. Let me take a look at persuasion just to be sure. Here we go. So my viewers can see this. This is my secret spreadsheet with all the info. There are a number of other NPCs competing: Sebi, Wilfred, Acha, Uria, Osmond, Hrothgar, Lionel, Editha, Gertie, Fendel, Halamar, Wereth, and someone known as Tavern Singer, which is just a generic person. It's from the NPC collection that Paizo provides. But there are a bunch of people who are competing, and they're all talking. The note here says this is a super short DC 25 check, and neither of you got a DC 25. There we go. That's it. So that's our first two competitions done. That might be a bummer because you guys don't make it, but I will let you in on a secret at this point, and that is if someone passes, that person gets to assemble their team, which means if one of you pass, you get to assemble a team. So you're not actually out of it yet. But what that does mean is Geek of Fury...
You just have to convince whoever wins to recruit you.
Yeah, Geek of Fury and Gawain, you guys are now pinning your hopes on Shadow and Zankt. So...
watch all of us fail.
I know, it could happen.
Fail.
It could absolutely happen. So Shadow and Zankt, I will remind you guys, you do have hero points and narrative points. If you have to use them right at the beginning, you have to. But so let's go to Shadow. Shadow, what are you going to try to do? What's your competition?
I want to do the healing one.
Right. Okay. So this one's actually really easy for us to figure out. Here's the question. Are you willing to actually burn through wand charges?
Oh yeah, I want to win a competition. I don't know. I'm afraid. I kind of like to look around and see how the people around me are doing and not have to burn all 50 if possible.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have to burn all 50 to like win, I will. I have 2 Cure Light Wound spells memorized, and those heal a little bit more. They'll do +4 actually, because I'm 3rd level, and then I have a gold reagent, which lets it do 1 extra point of healing. So my first 2 spells will be a little stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 3 potions that I have 5 Cure Light Wound potions that I made, so I can use those.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go on to the wand charges.
Got you. Okay. If you're willing to
After
do
that,
that,
I have stabilize.
if you're willing to do that, I'm literally just going to give you the number. And if you're willing to kill enough charges, this is going to be an auto win for you. So
Cool.
you're
Give it
going to
me.
need to be
I
able
bought
to
the
do,
wand. This is what it's for.
you're going to need to be able to do 25 D6 of healing. And if you can do 25 D6, then you're already in the top. So if you want to kill that off with spells, potions, wand charges, whatever you want to do, if you're willing to get to that number, you've won.
So I would 25 minus 7. I'll have to mark off that many charges.
18.
Wait, no, yeah, 7. 18. I can mark off 18 charges. That's fine.
Basically bought your way to victory.
Oh, that's
But the good news for you is nobody else was willing to do it. There are a bunch of other people who are healers that are going at this. There's callers calling out at the brawl left and right. It's chaos. You're not going to be able to see how other people are doing in healing because you'll be run ragged from one pen to the next, constantly moving. And there may be a couple points where one of the callers who's up in the air will even like shout at you like, you gave him 2 charges of healing. He's already survived. Let's go to the next one. You know what I mean? Like they're just going to drag you place to place to place. We got to get you to the next person before they bleed out. Let's go. So you are going to run around a number of these brawling pens and heal. And at the end of that,
Just
you're
flutter
gonna,
around.
Yep. You will realize at the end of that, every single healer that was here, there's Adamar, Gilbert, Elisande, Herman, Hurry, Maegar, Reynard, Talbot, and Casper. All of them were all relying on just their innate spells. And they all tap out when they're done with spells. They're like, I'm not burning my money on this. Like, I'm not burning wand charges. Are you kidding? So you're the only one who was ballsy enough to do that. You're in. That leaves
Better,
us.
if I bought it, might as well use it.
I mean, I thought you might have to use a hero point, but we'll go with that. Zankt, what about you, Zankt? What do you want to do?
I'm going for the melee.
You're going to do the brawl. Here we go.
I'm doing the brawl.
Oh, I'm so excited. This might hurt, but I'm going to hope you kick ass. Okay.
Let's make it hurt.
Zankt, what's your character's name again? Let's see here.
Zephyros.
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 Got you in. Zephyros, what kind of NPC classes do you have right now?
I've got 2 levels of warrior and 1 level of expert.
Got it. Okay. Got you in there. And then what are your hit points at the start of a combat encounter?
Probably not enough.
Yeah.
Let's see. 27.
27 is not bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So they move you into a pen. They put you at one end of the pen. And as this whole thing begins, here's what they tell you. They tell you, brace for impact, do your best. You don't see anyone in the pen with you. What they say is, the person who's talking to you says, I will be the wizard working with you on this brawl. And I don't mean working with you like I'm going to be on your side. He says, I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to summon something on the other end of the pen. We'll put you at diagonal corners of the pen. And the pen, I believe, is only 40 feet wide, which means the diagonal is going to be a little bit longer than 45 feet if you go across the diagonal of that 40. But still not that long. Like a single charge would get you all the way across. And he tells you he's going to summon something on the other side. And then the moment you see that thing like visualize and get in place, it's just go.
What are the rules?
There are almost no rules except for one, and that is you can't interfere with other pens. So for example, if you want to blast whatever shows up with like a fireball, you would be allowed to blast that thing with a fireball, but your problem is your fireball can't reach into the other pens and cannot like blow up another person's target, which makes it real dangerous because fireball is kind of big and pen's kind of small. So you want to be careful you don't blow yourself up, right? But the wizard's thinking you are not even going to do fireballs anyway. You're going to like beat the crap out of something. So he tells you just beat the living crap out of it until it vanishes.
And how many rounds?
You can go as many rounds as you need to win, although they will call it if you bore everyone to tears. Though, you know, if you just do defensive and you just never take action, they'll call it.
Sorry, I mean, how many creatures or summons?
Oh, it's just going to be one. You're going to deal with one.
Just one.
Yeah.
Got it.
So after they put you in the pen, they put a ton of other people in pens. There are wizards all over the place. And I would like you, Zankt,
ready to action.
What's that?
The moment I see my wizard starting to look magical, like they're going to start doing something, I'm going to alter self.
It won't quite work because you can only ready actions while you're in combat, not outside of combat. But we can have that be your first action in combat. But what I was going to say is I wanted you to give me a perception check. Oh my God, you're going to get it. 23. Really nice roll. So here's what you realize. There are over 100 pens. There are over 100 warriors in these pens. They're all standing there ready to go. And you note they don't have enough wizards for all the pens, which means they're going to have to start like a wizard's gonna have to start with you and
Staggered.
then move to the next dude, and they're gonna have to stagger it, right?
I've got my two-handed sword out, by the way. I want that in hand before.
Absolutely. So they're gonna have to stagger it. But what you realize is, even with them staggering it, this is an extremely large number of wizards. This is more wizards than should be in this town, even if you have an academy in the town, which you don't. So seeing like 50, 60 wizards all able to cast spells, like whatever they're about to cast, you're like, this seems like a weird number of wizards. And you realize, like, they must have imported, like, this is a big enough competition, they're importing. Like, this competition is costing the people providing the competition a lot of money. This is not cheap. So, having said that, that's what you get with your perception check. And then what I'll need you to do is I'll need you to give me an initiative roll. Excellent. Well done. Okay, my guy gets to roll an initiative, and then we're just going to go back and forth and see who goes first. Your initiative is 18. My initiative is rough. $11. All right, so Zank, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back and forth in rounds of combat until you fall or the enemy falls. You're gonna get to go first. You're gonna declare whatever you want to do first. You get full rounds with this. So round one, what do you want to do with your turn?
I'm gonna Teen Wolf it. I'm gonna use an innate ability to alter self. Pick up some characteristics of bugbears.
Okay.
Make myself a little hairier, smellier, and stronger.
Great. Okay. So round one, you get stronger. Got it. For the critter that shows up, well, I can't even tell you what it is unless you can make a check here. Would you give me a knowledge planes check? And if you have no ranks, cap yourself at 10.
I'll take it. Can I take a 10? I don't think I can do that in combat, can I?
You can't take a 10 in combat, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Total of 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what you see is what I would call a clay monster. A clay monster rises up out of the ground. I don't want to say more detail than that, although my viewers who are looking at my screen can see what's actually being fought. So this creature starts to come at you, and as it comes at you, it seems to it's almost like it's drowning or something, because as it comes at you, it's sort of like drifting into the ground. And you realize as it's come at you, it's kind of burying itself. And before you know it, it's gone.
You and Burrow.
It's probably an earth elemental.
What? There's no way. Nobody knows this. Okay, that's round one. Round two is up to you. What would you like to do?
Well, I cannot see it anymore.
Correct.
Ready?
All right. Describe the surroundings to me in terms of what's in the pen.
Pen is pure dirt. You look like you're on like a farm. It looks like this would be a pen that would hold animals. You have a wooden fence around you on all four sides. There is a gate, so technically you could open the gate and leave. The fence isn't that high either. It's probably only about 3.5 feet tall, which means if you wanted to, you could probably just jump it and leave. You do know that one of the rules of the fight is you need to keep everything in your pen, which should mean that the critter that you're fighting is not outside. Like he's probably like in the ground underneath you or something. And there isn't anything else of note there, but outside of your pen, there is a wizard that was casting and put this dude in your pen. He has now moved on to another pen. He's now finished casting at the other pen. And so you can hear another combat encounter happening just to your side.
Mm-hmm.
And across the way, there are more pens with more combat happening. There are also a number of people who are shouting and screaming and hooting and hollering from the sidelines.
Okay. I will. Okay. This is where Rust with Pathfinder will come into play.
Mm-hmm.
I also have another weapon and a shield.
Mm-hmm.
To change that out, what is the course of action?
It's painful, but I'll tell you about it. You can drop your existing sword as a free action, just clatters onto the ground.
Right.
You can draw another weapon as a move action, assuming that it is a sheathed weapon and it's not like buried in a backpack. So you can draw as a move. You can also draw a shield out as a move or pull it off your back if you've got it strapped to your back or whatever. So that's 2 move actions just to get it out. Now that would be mostly great. That would mostly get you going because the weapon would already be in hand. Unfortunately, once you draw the shield out, it is a move action to don the shield, which means it will take all this turn plus a move action next turn to get that all on. It's rough.
I can speed that up because I have a racial ability that allows me to do some of that as a swift with my tail.
Excellent.
However, it's still I think too expensive at this point.
Well, if you have a swift, you could do move to get the sword in hand, swift to draw the shield, move to don the shield. That would be all in one turn then, which would mean at the end of your turn you'd be ready to go, which is better than I had hoped for. That's not terrible.
Yeah, and that's why I have that ability. My other option is to ready an action.
Yes.
Can I ready as soon as I see it to smack it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Given my wisdom, that's probably what I'm going to do.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to ready an action. And if I can, I'd like to keep moving so I'm not in one location.
To ready is only a standard action, which means you have a full move action available to you right now. And potentially this guy couldn't stop you from moving. He's in the ground apparently. So unless he has like a dirt sight or something like that.
Oh, I have no doubt that it has. I'm not going to say the word, but let's call it dirt sight.
Sure.
I'm smart. I'm just not very wise.
Okay.
I have no doubt that it can see me and I can't see it.
So if you think it can see you, you may want to, I don't know, only 5-foot step because it can't get an AOO. Or, I mean, you could risk it and just move anyway and just be like, well, I guess he's going to get a hit on me. And you could just move.
Yeah, I guess a 5-foot step makes sense.
Okay. So you're going to 5-foot step just a little bit out of the way in a defensive way that disallows the enemy from getting a whack at you. And then you're in a ready. And it is now the enemy's turn. And I would love for you to roll that a readied attack because, woo, it's going to happen. He's popping up and he's going to bonk you.
Okay. Let's see. There we go.
Oh my goodness, that's a really good roll. You've hit. Give me some damage.
The damage is in there.
Oh, it is. It's the 20.
It's 20 damage, but it's slashing.
Very nice.
Yeah, that is good.
That is incredible. That might actually end it right here. Hold on.
Damn.
That does, as far as I can see. My viewers are able to see this monster stat block as I'm running this. My viewers might tell me you totally missed something on the monster sheet. So if I missed something, I apologize. But I've amped this monster up. I gave it a bunch of bonuses and so on, and they're not good enough. You have utterly destroyed it on your very first swing.
All right. Well, I will bellow out to Gorum.
Do it. What are you bellowing?
Gorum.
Oh.
I mean, sweet and to the point, right?
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Readied strike for 20 points. Okay. That works. You have won on round 2. Let's put in here. Oh, what is it? Zephyros wins. Zephyros wins. Okay. Give me another perception check. And I would like Shadow to also give me a perception check. You are literally flying over this event.
I'm not good at this, but I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Hey.
Shadow gets a 19. Zephyros gets an 8. Okay, so Zephyros,
I'm just caught up in. I'm caught up in myself.
Yeah. You are shouting to Gorum. You're very pleased. You wallop this dude with a single hit, and he just crumbles back into the earth, and you realize, well, you won. for Shadow's character, here's what you're going to realize. First of all, that dude, you're overhead. You just saw a dude one-shot this dude, and you are watching other people who are getting murdered by these summoned elementals. We have Ulrich, Anduan, Anna, Cyril, Ifrid, Mungar, Oswald, Maegar, Saber, a guard for a small town, a recruit, another small town watchman, a brawler, a pact wizard, a resolute guard. A bunch of people are in this fight. I've pre-rolled for them. Tons and tons of NPCs are bleeding out. They're just littering the pens everywhere, and you're getting directed pen to pen to pen to pen to pen. People are struggling with these elementals, and you just watch this one dude one-shot it. It's incredible. I'm looking at the list of all my results. I think that may be the fastest it's happened with anyone. I'm looking. Let me see here. Yeah.
As Aurelia is flying past, she'll just be like, damn. And then keep healing.
He is definitely the fastest. Okay, so that is the entire competition, you guys. Everything runs concurrently. Everything's basically insane. It's extremely difficult for most people, although I do have to say that I think Zankt was surprising there. Not hard for Zankt. By the way, Zankt, that dude hits hard. He hits for 1d6 plus 8 or 1d6 plus 11, depending on whether you're both feet on the ground or not. I mean, he can do 15 points of damage per hit, and so 2 hits and most people are out. But you didn't let him get a hit. That's not bad. So we are at the end of the competition. What happens next? The contest organizers start rounding up all the victors, and that will include Zankt, that will include Shadow, and they pull you all aside. By the way, the crowd is going nuts. Crowd everywhere is arguing and debating. They're trying to figure out who owes who what. People are now shouting.
I forgot my bet.
You did. They are now shouting about what's going to happen afterwards. So all of a sudden, all the touts or town criers who were directing everyone into the competition, they're now directing everyone back into town, and they are shouting out every tavern that exists in town. They're like, visitors, welcome into the town. You want to go to this tavern or this tavern. There are inns you can stay at. We have makeshift locations if we have overrun capacity, that kind of thing. So the touts are going wild now. It's touts gone wild. As they do this and they start ushering people in, a lot of people who had come in to watch or place bets realize, like, oh my God, it's already over. And so what you're going to see is a frantic run of merchants to get ahead of the crowd so they can get back to their buildings and provide merchandise before everyone gets into town. There is just a huge influx of people who have come in from far away, and the merchants are realizing they're about to have like the best day of sales of the full year. So everybody's just in a panic to get into town and set up shop and start selling. So that's the hustle and bustle. Geek of Fury and Gawain, you are able to participate in that hustle and bustle if you want to get into town and shop, do anything, get to a tavern, drink, tell stories, whatever. If you don't want to do that, if you want to hang out, there is a meeting for all the victors that's going to happen, and you can see them all getting pulled off to the side. You would not be included in that meeting, but you won't be excluded either, in the sense of, like, they're not roping it off and being like, everybody get the hell out of here. They're just like, okay, you come with us, you come with us, you come with us. They pull a bunch of people into a group. They come off to the side. Tons of people walking past. And so Geek of Fury and Gawain, what do you two want to do before I get into this sort of victor stuff?
Trying to figure out what would be the most advantageous and what would my character do. I don't know that Storbjorn is giving up on this per se.
Right.
So maybe he wants to hear what the victors are being told.
Yeah, you can listen in. Okay, so we're gonna have Geek of Fury's character listening in, and Gawain, what do you want to have your character do?
Probably something similar. She's probably looking at the victor's circle with like a wistful expression, like, dang.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Not really. But...
I have a question.
Yeah.
in the now thinned out group, do I recognize anyone, given that I've been in Restov for a few years? Not my whole life, but the last few years.
You would do a knowledge
Uh,
local check for this.
All right, and that, by the way, outside of the character is trying to connect with Shadow here.
Sure.
Yeah,
Since
because I think we
we-
we say at some point that our siblings or friends or something, so
Right.
we run into each other.
So trying to start that connection out here. So you said knowledge local.
Yep.
Fortunately, that is one of the ones I have skill in.
Great.
Nice.
Oh, no!
Although
You got a 9.
I'm still shouting to Gorm.
With a
To be
9,
fair,
you're still going to get something. What's that, Shadow?
I was about to say, to be fair, I'm not exactly subtle.
Yeah, she's
That is
literally
quite true.
flying. So what I was going to say is with a 9, you're still going to get something. You're going to get 2 results, and one of them actually is Shadow, because Shadow literally, if I understand Shadow's character correctly, she doesn't want to land or stand on her feet because she's gimped. Am I correct, Shadow?
Yeah. So technically, I'm not. My plan is to eventually take Oracle levels, and Oracles have curses. And even though now I'm not an Oracle, so there's no reason for me to have a curse story-wise, I like the idea that I was born with these curses. So as one of my Oracle curses, I was going to choose Lame, which gives me like a lower movement speed. And I like for story purposes, I thought since I have wings, I just never land because it like hurts to land on my lame legs or whatever. So I'm basically fluttering around all the time. I took a feat, so I never have to land without, and I can just stay in the air without having to make a fly check.
Excellent. Because of that, your character Zephyros will see her in the air and just be like, "Oh yeah, our siblings know each other," and you recognize her. You are going to recognize one other person, though. I will pull it up for the viewers. Let me see if I can find it here. There it is. So for my viewers, let me highlight this in red for my viewers so they can see what I'm talking about. There we go. You recognize that there is someone extremely powerful here who has won. As you are going through the competitions, all of you will feel like these competitions were basically geared toward people kind of your level or a little higher. Like it's built to block out anybody who's first level, second level. It's built to be kind of like a shoe-in for anyone who's 10th level, 20th level. Like it'd be so trivial and easy. The 10th and 20th level people wouldn't even care. And in fact, you don't see anybody who's borderline demigod here in the competition. It doesn't look like anybody who's that good would bother with something like this. They're busy doing their own thing. Except you see someone who is known as Maegar Varn. Maegar Varn is a very interesting person because he is a sword lord. He is also an adventurer. He is also relatively high level, at least compared to you guys. And you've heard talk of Maegar Varn because he's a weird story. He plays himself off like a solo adventuring party, but technically he's not. He actually has a group of people that go with him, but often what happens is he hires on randos at whatever town he's at, and he just has like mercs with him. Basically, he always claims glory. And the mercs eventually die off or are let go and new ones hired on. He just sort of never got a full adventuring party with him.
Well,
But
It's Dread Pirate Roberts.
yeah. So there are interesting rumors around the guy around this, and sort of his tactics, and some people take it at sort of like a face value of power. In other words, most people need to assemble a group, but Maegar Varn doesn't. That kind of thing. Like if you're going to go out on an adventure, you're going out with 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 people who can shore up all your weaknesses and fill in for all the weak spots. But Maegar Varn doesn't. That kind of thinking, right?
Uh-huh.
So you'll see him there, and he's, for whatever reason, even if he's supposed to be Mr. Solo, he's talking to a bunch of people there.
Feels suspicious. You don't have to pay the mercenaries if they die on the freaking trip.
That is
Well,
suspicious.
he obviously doesn't need me, and I don't really need him. But I'll nod in Shadow's direction, be like, "Oh yeah, you're the butterfly woman. Which competition were you in? I wasn't the obstacle course, was it?"
No, I was doing the healing.
Oh,
I saw you
okay.
in the combat one. You took down that rock creature pretty quickly.
Yeah.
There's a question.
Yes.
If Shadow had entered the obstacle course, could she have just flown over the whole thing? Would that count?
I'm going to give you an in-game answer to that. Why don't you give me a diplomacy check? You're actually going to ask that question to the people, and I'm going to have an interesting answer for you, depending on what you get.
I can't swim. I assume I would have had to swim, so. Or at least I can't swim well.
My first rolls are a 1 and a 2. There you go.
But you have a huge bonus, and it actually is going to work for you. I've already given you a couple bits of answers with 9s and 10s and 12s, and you're going to get some more with this 12. There is a buzz, especially on the people who are outside of the winner's circle, because a lot of them are talking about that obstacle course because it was crazy. I said there are secrets about each competition. Obviously, for the brawl, the secret is what you're fighting. That's not much of a secret. For the healing, the secret is anybody can win if they're willing to spend enough money at it. For the obstacle course, everybody is saying basically that the course organizers cheated. And here's what I mean by that. That ring was an anti-magic ring. Everybody begins the obstacle course charging through
That's
a ring.
so mean.
And leaping down into the water. And there were a number of people who began the competition by shape-shifting into owls or other things and flying through the ring, only to find every spell that existed on them dismissed summarily, and they were completely turned back to normal everything. Every flight was turned off except for one. There was one competitor. Let me see if I can find him here. One competitor. Yes. There's one competitor who used Cheetah's Sprint, which is a swift action spell, to get ahead of everyone else. And it was dispelled as they went through the ring, but they only wanted it for before the ring, so they didn't care. They were like way ahead of everybody because they did Cheetah's Sprint. Another guy was doing
like 10 times their movement speed or something crazy like that, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Other people were doing levitation and fly spells and so on, and they were all falling on their asses. But that's the idea. If your flight is completely non-magical, then you potentially would keep it through the ring and you could potentially fly over the whole course.
I thought about the obstacle course, but I was genuinely concerned that if I didn't get in the water, I would lose. And I'm like, I'm not getting in that water.
Right. So you finish the competition. 2 of you are pulled in. The rest of you are eavesdropping. And here's what they tell you. You are going to show up in fact, I got to show you guys the map, and I think my map is currently bad. Hold on one moment.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I'm going to show you all a map at this point. This is the map of Restov, which some of you have seen in the Discord, but we're going to show it on screen for everybody now. Show to everyone. And I'll pull the map up there for everybody to see, including my viewers. Great. So this map has 2 major parts to it. The outside of town is where the competition was held. It's not on the map. It was far enough from town that they could work on it and keep it safely far away from everybody. Then the upper northern part of the map is the original Restov map. The lower southern part of the map is an add-on that I have added because the town is supposed to hold 18,000 people, and the map just does not do that justice. There are not enough buildings. Someone ran the math on this map. The original map with only the northern part would need 66 people per building in order to house 18,000 people. With my addition
Everybody
there,
be cuddling.
Right. With my addition there, we're down to something like 25 people per building, which is still awful, but it's starting to get more realistic, especially because I'm going to assume that most buildings are multi-storied and there will be at least one full family per building. So there's 5, 10, 15 people in each building as it is. But then on top of that, we're going to have tons of people in the outside of town, in the outskirts of town, doing all the farming to raise food for the town and so on. So you've got thousands of people outside of town. The 18,000 for the town is not living in town proper. It's everything that Restov claims. Having done that sort of mental gymnastics, we now have a map that kind of works. Maybe we could say there's 10 people per building, something like that. A few buildings have more, a few buildings have less. I think one of our players, Shadow, has already designated one of the buildings here off to the right side on the island as Opal Lights Potions, Trinkets, and Tonics. That is her home and store. And I believe based on her backstory, she's probably already got 8 people in there, I think is what she said, 9 people, 10 people. So
it's 9 including me, but well, I have 9 siblings including myself, but 2 of them don't live there, so
7 total right now then.
Yeah.
That live there. Okay. So it's getting close to the 10 to 15 I'm thinking that there would be in each of these buildings. So it's kind of working out. So one of the things you're going to note is that on the left side, on the western side, there is a big open area with an X on it. It looks like a, whoop, I made it go away. It looks like a keep, maybe a castle in like a walled area, a walled perimeter. And I put a big red X on top of it because it's not one of the locations you guys could claim for your house or your home. That location is owned by someone known as Jamandi Aldori. Good Lord, I'm saying that wrong. Holy cow. Hold on 1 second.
Jamandi Aldori.
Thank you so much. Wow, I said that so badly. Jamandi Aldori, I appreciate you. I thought I had a picture of Jamandi. Where is she? There we go. Okay, show 2 players. Okay, so this is Jamandi Aldori. Jamandi is a rather severe person. You can see she's got some scarring on her. She's very martial. And it turns out she's a sword lord. She's a very good one. Sword lords in the country of Brevoy, and in particular in the city of Restov, they're an interesting breed of people because they basically have warriored their way into being royalty. They have warriored their way into being wealthy. They've warriored their way into being leaders. Because she is such an incredibly talented and gifted sword lord, she has basically become nobility in town. She owns the large keep that you see on the western edge of town, and she now makes an appearance in the winner's circle. And she confesses to you all that she has funded this insanely expensive competition.
Ooh,
and she tells you that there is more money to be had by the victors.
Ooh, okay.
Because it isn't just that the victors are going to be winning a little bit of funds or other things like that. She tells you that potentially there actually is land. There actually are deeds. There actually are titles. It actually turns out that this competition may be the most optimistic of optimistics of what lordly rewards could mean.
I'm getting a castle.
Potentially. So she tells you, to the group of you, there's about 20 people who have won in all the competitions. She tells you all...
A very small one in the clouds.
Right. She tells you all, here's what's going to happen. There is going to be a meeting tomorrow at her estate at noon. You're to show up at noon or a few minutes prior to noon. You will be let in if you have the token that I'm handing out to you now. She hands out 20 tokens to the 20 victors. She notes that you have something to do before you meet her tomorrow afternoon. And that is, she says that there are going to be 4 potential lordly deployments with 4 potential teams. And she tells you she wants you all, the 20 of you, to sort out your teams and arrive tomorrow as teams. You can be teams among the 20 of you, or you could even pick somebody who didn't make it in the competition. They don't care what you do to assemble your team because you are the victors. So she's basically saying, I'm going to trust your victory mindset. You will decide how to form teams, how to best do this. But importantly, all 20 of you are getting used, which means if some of you are kind of like the odd man out that don't get picked for a team, you're still going on a team. You've all won. You're all getting put in something somewhere. And teams will have to deal with it. So it's possible that a team of like Maegar Varn, the guy we talked about earlier, who's kind of high level and likes to be solo. Maegar Varn is like, well, I do everything on my own. Well, Jamandi is like, you may end up with people anyway. Like some of these victors are going to group up, even if they're not picked by anyone. And so you might just have extras. You might have to deal with it. But she wants 4 teams. You can self-assemble. She'll see you tomorrow at noon. You're going to have lunch with her at her estate, and she's going to tell you more details about what is going to happen. She expects that when you arrive tomorrow at noon, you are not dressed for combat, war, or tests or competitions, but you are dressed comfortably to enjoy a lunch with her and to sit for an extended period of time and maybe have her like drone on about what she needs you guys to do.
Okay.
So there you go. When she's done with that, she doesn't take questions. She just turns and walks off. And as she walks off, she sort of waves her hand as she walks off and sort of like gesturing at you all behind her. And she says, now get into town, get ready, spend money, good luck. And then she wanders off. At that point, the victors are all buzzed, and you can see a bunch of people have surrounded Maegar Varn, and they're all like, pick me, pick me. And a bunch of other people are sort of like, joining together. You guys are now free to do whatever you'd like. And once you're done doing what you want, I will fast forward you to noon tomorrow with Jamandi Aldori. But in the meantime, I want you guys to take over and tell me what you'd like to do.
Well, first thing, as a warrior type, I'm gonna look over and to is it Aloria?
Aloria or Lori.
Aloria, and be like, if you won the healing competition, I'm gonna need lots of healing. So, you want to team up?
I like the idea of that. I'm not terribly great at killing things.
I can take the killing.
Well, we're gonna need more than just the 2 of us.
True. Do you know anybody good with magic or
We should probably get at
talking?
least one.
Oh, about talking, I may have a way to help you guys.
I don't do either of this.
I may have a way to help you.
Okay.
Hold on. Yes, I have a way to help you. If you guys are looking for someone talking, you will quickly realize no diplomacy or knowledge local check. You will quickly realize that there is only one person who won in the talking competition.
Oh, it was like the hardest one.
Yes, her name is Fendel Bramblefoot. She's obviously a halfling. Fendel has already been pledged to a team, which means if you want someone talky, you are going to have to pick someone who didn't win. There you go.
Can we try and do some kind of like, I don't know, perception or something to see if we noticed anyone else who might have done well but didn't make it into the diplomacy competition? Some kind of something or another?
Perception won't do it because there's no way to perceive what happened in the past.
Fair.
And there was no way for you guys to see what was going on where you were. However, you could do more diplomacy checks, and it should be very easy to find because talky people would be, feed right into diplomacy.
But before they do that, I'm trying. I don't know how I would do this in a way that how I would know this rather. But like, if I were to use a little bit of guile to maybe, I don't have sleight of hand, so I can't just pickpocket it off of a token off of someone. But like maybe charm and get someone drunk to get their token.
Yes.
Giving me sort of a second chance to become a winner.
Yes.
But then I don't know, is that gonna get me in more trouble than it's worth? I don't know.
Well, I will tell you that if that's what you're looking to do, the game is gonna lend itself to that very well, because everybody's literally just been told, get in town, party, celebrate, see you tomorrow at noon. She literally said, go spend money in town. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's heading to town. And like I said, all the merchants ran ahead of everyone to go prep everything, which means every bar that could be a bar, every tavern that could be a tavern, they're all open and they're all waiting for you guys to come in. People are gonna get drunk. And if you want to take advantage of that, this is your moment.
Okay. So I'm gonna do that, and it's probably gonna cost me a bit of gold to like find some rube who one of the winners, and just basically convince them that any getting in with this endeavor is beyond them. Like, you're gonna end up dead by some monster. I'm certain of it. Like, seriously, go find a good-looking, wench and get lost in her bed for the next month. You don't want this. You don't want this smoke, friend. Blah 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 blah. And once they're drunk enough, you're like, give me your token. I can win this.
Yeah.
But I'll take the risk of getting skewered on the claw of some monster.
Right.
And you can take, here's 10 gold. That'll buy you a wench for at least a week, right?
Got you. Okay, that's very interesting. This is an interesting approach. So you're actually not going to stealth and sleight of hand and all the other stuff we were talking about. You really want to just basically get a re-up.
I'm terrible at diplomacy. I'm much better at convincing people of stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to do it. In fact, why don't we do it right now? Why don't we jump back into the roll area? Let me get back into the chat. I'm going to give you 2 opportunities to get different numbers for yourself. Okay. The first one is going to be, actually, I'm going to give you 3. The first rule I'm going to need is a perception check to basically find your mark. The better your perception, the more likely your mark will work out. The second check I'm going to give you is to get that person drinking. And that's going to be, do we have Zinc says BRB. Okay. The second question is going to be to do a persuasion to get them drinking. Then the third thing you're going to do is a final persuasion or diplomacy check to convince them once they become susceptible. You can potentially buff this essentially the same way that Shadow did. You can buy your way to victory. And we'll let you maybe do a roll or a check for that as well. But the first thing you're going to need to do is start off with a perception check to find someone out of all of these people who you think is most likely to be open to this.
Okay, this is going to be... Oh, boy. All right. Cross your fingers for me, folks. Oof.
Oh, not bad. So I had my DC as 15 for you to basically be competent, and you've got a 15. Now, a 20 would be even better, but with a 15, I'm not going to give you any penalties or anything. You're going to find a dude, and you think this dude is probably open to what you're talking about, and he very clearly wants to celebrate, right? He's like, I'm going into town, friend. I don't have time to talk to you. I'm going into town. I'm gonna drink and celebrate.
Well, I want to drink and celebrate too. This has been a great day. Can I join you, friend?
Oh, he's definitely open to this. Absolutely.
Let me buy you a round.
Oh, buying a round, even better. Okay. So now I want you to give me a diplomacy check. Let's see how you can smooth talk him into drinking too much.
Oh boy. All right. Diplomacy. Keep going.
Oh my God. All right. So this is going to help you a lot. I'm already going to put you at a +2 to your final check just from that alone. Basically, you're going to talk him into drinking until he's like really quite sauced. And because he's really quite sauced, he's kind of open to just about whatever you're saying. So you're going to do your final check with a +2. However, I'm going to give you a little bit more. I want to see, do you want to potentially try to buy your way to victory, or are you happy with kind of where you're at already? There are 2 ways you can do this. The first way I can think of is you could have offered to buy every drink he had. We'll dock a little money off your character for all the drinks that have been paid for. That's the first part. Second part is kind of building on what you said. You could attempt to throw some money at him, leave him with coin so that he doesn't regret it in the morning. And the more coin you leave him with, obviously the better work can be done. I won't give you numbers for that, but
okay. Let's I mean, I've only got 71 gold, so I mean, drinks aren't that expensive unless he's buying the really top shelf stuff.
I mean, he's
Uh,
definitely buying good, but he's not buying top shelf. This guy's not. I mean, his first order when he thinks he's paying is not going to be that great.
Let's call it 30 gold.
That sounds great. He's going to be astounded with 30 gold. So you drink all night, and he's like real wobbly by the end of the celebration. And he's really pleased with you too. He likes your taste. He thinks you have great taste in wine or beer or ale, whatever he's got.
Whatever we were drinking, I probably was drinking, beer, but
Yeah.
if he wants to drink wine, I don't judge. We're all friends here.
Excellent. Now, having said that, what about, do you want to leave him with anything when he wakes up in the morning?
Well, that was going to be part of the 30. So
Got it. 30 overall.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, he's less impressed with your drinking choices then, because we need a little leftover for the afterwards. But there we go. Maybe we split that 15-15. So you spend 15 on drinks, and then you spend 15 to leave him coin in his pocket. You are now able to do a final diplomacy check. You're going to get a +4 to it. It's a +2 from your great roll that you've already done, talking him into drinking so hard.
+6 total or +4?
It should be a +4. It's +2 for the diplomacy you already did, and then +2 for the coin you've spent and left.
Okay.
+4 on top of whatever you normally do.
Let's see.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't botch this.
Fingers crossed.
Let's see. Where the hell is
You could always take a 10. That would give you another 22, right? With your new plus bonus.
Another 22, 26.
Okay, so your second roll is also a 22, but you're saying we can add our 4 onto it because your roll doesn't include the 4, right?
No, it does not.
Okay, so total of 26. Extremely persuasive. Congratulations. You now have a token. You are now considered one of the heroes who won, even though you didn't. But to be fair,
I'm just like, the judges were wrong. I'm a winner. And look, I used my very persuasive skills to make myself a winner.
I feel like,
I mean, you're correct as far as I'm concerned.
right? I feel like the judges can't even be mad at that. That's literally what they were giving you an opportunity to do, is persuade your way in, and you just
In fact, that
persuaded
26 beats the 25.
it does.
Yeah,
It
I was just
does.
thinking that.
So I'm going to agree with you. I think that's extremely good. I think you've done well for yourself. And that puts us to Gawain. Gawain, you are playing a character named, is it Alyssa?
Yes.
Alyssa has been on the outside watching the winner's circle, heard what I've described, has seen a little flying pixie girl hovering over everyone, has seen the victors sort of all starting to congregate and self-select. What do you want to do with your time as people are sort of breaking up and going their separate ways? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm not sure I can follow up a brilliant performance of our resident Scald, or soon to be Scald. So let's see. I have two options. I can either just ask somebody to, include me, or I can do some trickery of my own.
You can do trickery. You can ask someone to include you. I will give you a third option, just as a reminder, since we just started the game. You also have a hero point. A hero point typically just gives you like one extra action, but it can also do some small thing in your favor. You could use a hero point to get inspiration from me, which is basically not inspiration like you have in Dungeons and Dragons. This would basically be insight. I would give you a tip or a hint about what you should be doing. And I don't typically, when you use a hero point, I don't typically have a gotcha where like I secretly feed you bad information. I would just give you some potentially good options. The other thing that you could do is you could potentially burn hero point and narrative point. You could rewrite history. You could say that you either chose differently and run a different competition. That would be your narrative point. Or you could say, I would like a retroactive bonus to my roll that I did for diplomacy. You may be able to pull a victory out of that by burning a hero point. The reason for that is I think you were only a few points off. Am I wrong?
I was 6 points off because of the penalty.
You were
If
6
I didn't
points
have the
off.
penalty, it would be 4 point off. So.
Right. Did you got a 19? That's right. Okay. A hero point won't actually get you out of that trouble. You could burn the hero point and the narrative to get out of that kind of a deficiency at that point, but you could do it. So, and there may be other ways you could burn a hero point too. I'm just trying to give you a bunch of options, and you may not even want those. You might want to go with the original options you stated, but I just want you to be, up on
Well,
everything.
there's certainly a lot of options. What does
Yeah.
everyone else think I should do?
Well, I was already kind of trying to say we needed to recruit more people to our party. Maybe you could like see if you overheard us or something.
Yeah.
If you want to try to overhear, that would be a really easy check because this group is pretty small at this point, and a lot of people have peeled off. So you're just basically in with this group of people who are already there, the heroes that are there. So you could give me something like a perception check, maybe a little better than a 10. You probably might need more like a 12 to hear them discussing, but you could try it.
I mean, I'll try it. Never, no hurt, no harm in trying. Let's see. Perception.
Oh, yeah. People are pairing up or grouping up, and you can hear the people talking to our solo dude who's so cool and everybody's trying to get on his team and he's basically rejecting a bunch of people. But you can also hear that the pixie-like creature has now paired up with someone. You hear some other people pairing up. You could potentially talk to them. They're literally saying out loud they need someone with diplomacy.
All right.
And magic.
True.
Well, I don't have any magic at the moment. That's the rub in that.
And more hittage and more of everything.
All right. She will kind of waving vigorously approach the. I mean, I don't think she knows either of you, does she? Like, she's only been in Restov for maybe 6 months at the most. So
you could like roll a check to see if you've met us before.
If you've been buying potions, you may have been to her store.
That's a good point. I
Or hanging
sell
out at
potions
taverns.
and alchemical stuff.
Yeah.
maybe. I don't.
If you don't want to do a roll, you could just introduce yourself, see what happens.
In any case, I don't think she recognizes either of you, but that's not going to stop her. She is going to approach, waving vigorously, as I said, and be like, "Hello, friends. Are you looking for any help? Because I would really like to get out of the city for some time."
I mean, we were talking about recruiting extra members. What are your skills?
Well, I trained with the Sword Lords just for a bit. She's going to leave out the part where she wasn't very good, but I also am highly skilled in the arts, the noble art of discourse. She's trying to think of the best way to phrase it.
Why don't you give me a roll or take 10 for diplomacy, and we'll let the number be more charismatic than you are in real life if you can roll like really well. Or get a really high number, whatever you want to do. Take 10 might be really high for you. I don't know. I think I do know. Aren't you a plus 10 or 11?
Yeah,
I'm a plus 10.
You could just take a
So-
10.
Hey,
It'd be awesome.
you get +2 versus Faye, and I'm Faye, so you're +12 versus me.
Okay. In that case, 22 if I take 10.
When your character starts speaking, wow, do they choose the right words? You say exactly what you mean, and you mean exactly what you say, and it's perfect.
How did this person not win?
I know, right? Like, listen to them. They're amazing.
Well, you can talk better than me.
There we go.
No.
That's an easy hookup. You guys can definitely work together if you want. Now, I mean, obviously for the course of the game, I'm really going to hope that you do. Otherwise, we're stymied. But is there any reason that Zankt and Shadow wouldn't take on a speaker?
No, I am happy to let Alyssa, right?
Yeah.
I'm happy to give Alyssa a shot and let Alyssa be an addition to our party.
Yeah, I feel like we need more than just the three of us, though.
I know. We'll see. Well, we can see if we can recruit from one of the other winners. We need to see who all got tokens.
Is there
Yeah, you can
anyone
try
else around that is advertising their skills?
Awesome. I'll meet you. She overheard the meeting at Aldori's Manor, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll meet you there. I have a thing to do, but I'll meet you there.
All right, we'll see you there.
She's excited, but she is now in a similar vein to, how do you say his name? Storbjorn?
Storbjorn?
Storbjorn.
He is going to try to acquire a token to make it seem more legitimate, but she's going to go about it in a different way. If the victors are heading off into the city,
Oh yeah.
to celebrate,
Mhm.
she is going to tag along, particularly at the group that is kind of banging around Maegar
Maegar Varn. Yep.
Yeah. And she is going to see if any of them are getting incredibly saused, and if they are, she has the profession gambler, so she is going to offer to pay them for their token.
I love that.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I was like, I didn't take profession gambler, but I would have loved to role play the whole I win it from you in a poker game.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I love that.
So this is going to be so hard. These people are holding on to these tokens for dear life. You're asking them to give up a lordship. But if you get them sauced enough, if they party enough, you never know what could happen. So the first thing I'd like you to do is similar to what I asked Geek of Fury to do. And that is, I'm going to need a perception check for you to even find a mark.
Okay. Well, we can hope.
Yeah, that was where I was worried, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a 7 wisdom.
Yeah, I'm
And
a little
no
worried for our
ranks.
perception checks.
So you have a mark. And once you have a mark, your big issue is going to be that, after talking to certain people and trying to find the best mark, numbers of people are going to basically just outright deny you. They're like, I'm not going to get that drunk. I'm not that stupid. I'm not doing that. You finally find someone who will accept drinks, who is willing to maybe potentially get a little bit too much of a party, something like that. So the question now becomes similar to Zanked again. How hard are you willing to work on this person to get them drunk and make them reckless?
As hard as I need to, as much gold as I have.
All right. What kind of limitations are we talking with gold here? Do you have 5 gold to your name or 500?
I have 26 gold to my name.
Ooh, that does make it a little hard. Yeah. So if you have gear you think you might want to use as well, that'd be good. The 26 gold, just like Geek of Fury, you don't even need 26 gold to buy rounds of drinks for a person.
Yeah.
I think you could potentially be very frugal and probably only spend 4 gold. That would be rounds and rounds of drinks, but they'd be low end drinks. You could spend up to say 15 gold, which is what we had Geek of Fury do. And if you spend 15 gold, you're buying a lot of drinks, but they're pretty good drinks, not top shelf, but pretty good drinks.
Sure, 15 gold is fine.
So you spend 15 gold on that.
Mark that
You've
here.
got the person pretty well sauced, and potentially they're willing to do gambling, but you're going to need to persuade them. So your first check here is just going to be, can you persuade them to even engage with you like this?
Is this-
You are going to have a +2 from getting them drunk. Unfortunately, you have a -2 because your perception was terrible and you did not pick the best mark.
Oh no!
So you found somebody who's a little bit resistant. So the -2, the +2 cancel out. You're just going to give me a plain old normal diplomacy check. You can take 10 or roll for it. Whoa. Is that it right
Nice.
Yep.
there? 26? Oh my goodness. You did really well.
27 if they're humanoids.
They are. 27. You have done incredibly well. They are so into this that you're surprised at your own good fortune. Like they literally take the token out, put it on the table, and say, "I'll bet you. Let's go all the way, all the way. There's no possible way you beat me." And the game begins. I think for this, we're simply going to do a best 2 out of 3 on skill check rolls. We'll just do as posed skill checks. So why don't you give me your profession gambling check first? And I will
All right.
also roll one. An 18. So you're at +5 with profession gambling. You rolled a 13. That looks great. My guy is not nearly as good. I'm going to have to roll real hot to beat you. I don't. You have won the first round. Let's do that again. And let's see who wins on a second round. If you win the second time, we don't even need to do the third roll.
It's 14.
You have won a second round. Congratulations. Yay! You have convinced this poor soul to give up his lordship.
Whoopsies. I mean, if he was going to gamble it away in the first place, he probably didn't deserve it. Just saying.
I mean, the difficulty he's going to have is you got him sauced and got a 26 on diplomacy. And I just don't feel like a normal NPC is going to have much they can do against a 26 diplomacy while also being, drinky. Yeah. So that is a problem for them. And they have now made a terrible decision. And you can tell that you have a problem. And the problem is that a bar fight is about to break out. Would you like to enjoy a bar fight, or would you like to attempt to avert?
She'd probably attempt to avert because...
Excellent. You have a bunch of ways you can attempt to avert. Everything we were doing up to this point was sort of like diplomacy and gambling. At this point, you could do anything. You could do a intimidation. You could do a bluff. You could do a diplomacy. You could even do things like bribe with money, gifts, charity, whatever. You can do whatever you'd like to do.
Run away quickly.
She is going to, I assume she won the token, so she's going to surreptitiously put that in her pocket. But then she's also going to say, this was one of the people who was hanging around Maegar Varn, right?
I don't know that that's the case. We just gave you a random person that seemed like your perception was like, this is a good person to get. Could have been a Maegar Varn person, could have been someone else that won.
All right. In that case, she is going to attempt to bluff. Although, is it really a bluff? I don't know. I guess it is mostly a bluff, because what she's going to say is she's going to put like a hand on the guy's shoulder who is angry, and he'd say, friend, haven't you heard? When they're forming the groups, they can take people without tokens. And if I was correct, Maegar Varn was quite impressed with you. You should just go ask to be in his group. I'm sure you can still come out of this ahead. No need for violence.
That is actually well played. You played off of the lore of the game and the way
great.
The competition worked. Not bad. Give me a diplomacy check, or no, that wasn't diplomacy. That was bluff. Give me a bluff check, but take a +2 on that.
Awesome. 21.
21. Not bad. You've done it.
Nice.
If this were a less alcoholic situation, I might say you didn't do it, because the dude is looking at the, he's just pissed away the winning token that is freaking amazing. So if he were sober, I think he might not buy it, even with a 21. But being completely blitzed, I think he's sort of begrudgingly going, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm just going to talk to Maegar Varn. I'm going to become one of Maegar Varn's people. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, it'll work. It's going to work.
Absolutely, Fred.
I'm going to go see him now. And then
he's going to buy him a drink for the road, and then
buy him a drink. So, he's going to stand up to go find Maegar Varn right now. And as he stands up, he's just wobbly. He's like grabbing the chair for balance. And and you're like, here, have another drink for the road. And he's like, maybe just a sip.
Maegar is telling other winners to get fucked. A loser and smashed? No, you're so evil.
No. That's great. I approve.
It's hilarious, but good God, that's cruel.
So it goes surprisingly well for you, but congrats, you got a 26. And I gotta admit, I did not see that going that well, but that's pretty good. So unless you guys have more to do, I'm going to fast forward you the next day. It looks like everybody's got to weigh in.
No, I'm
Um,
good. I don't think I have anything
I
more
would
to
like.
do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would like to spend the evening playing for coin, since I am a traveling musician. I want to make some of that money back, if I can.
Absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead. You can give me. We won't do multiple checks though. It's going to be one check overall,
Sure.
and we'll see how you do.
Not great, but something.
17. I mean, a 17 is going to be welcomed, right? Like there are large groups of people who are roaming around trying to have a party and have a good time, and everything is maxed out. Like I said, they've even got like spillover areas for people who, like if all the taverns are full and so on. Which means someone performing at a 17 is desperately needed because every bard that could perform is performing, and they need people in spillover areas as well. So you definitely can do it. Now the question is, how much are you going to get out of that? And I don't think it's going to be a lot, but let me just find out here.
I mean, even if it's not very much, I mean, Storbjorn's the kind of guy, he's like, I'd like to make a lot of money if I can, but you know what? I'm still up for a banging party.
Yeah. So what you're going to need to do is roll a D10. It says for a DC 15, which is the highest you've hit, you do an enjoyable performance, and you can earn 1d10 silvers from this performance.
Okay.
Two. You earn 2 silvers. Probably it wasn't 2 people handing you 2 silvers. Probably it was a bunch of coppers.
Like a bunch of coppers.
But
yeah,
it'll add up to 2 silvers.
Fair enough.
Lots of people appreciating you, but just not spending money on you. Apparently, they're spending all the money on beer.
On beer, and that's fine. I mean, again, banging party. That's what I'm here for. And if I get a little extra, then great.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a little thing I'd actually like to do. Since I won the little healing competition.
Yeah.
I sell healing potions at my shop, so maybe I'll try and do a little bit of advertising and tell people to come buy healing potions at my shop since they're so cool and I'm so good at healing.
Excellent business sense.
You could try to do that. That would be a diplomacy check, I believe, where you're basically doing pure persuasion check. I would allow, if you have a perform skill that involves speech or singing or comedy, perform speech, perform sing, perform comedy. You could do a roll of that to give yourself a small bonus to the diplomacy numbers, but only if you have that.
I don't have any ranks in anything like that. It would just be pure charisma.
All right, give me a check then. Just regular diplomacy.
Okay, just for funsies. I still have siblings that run my shop. Even if I leave, they can have extra business.
Oh my goodness, a 21.
Yay!
I mean, I think that might actually work. That's not bad at all. You're extremely persuasive as you move through the crowds, and you do great work. Now, I will say this is probably going to be one of those things where you don't do this for 20 minutes if you want a good result. You did this for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's now late in the evening by the time you're wrapping up with all this, but you persuade a number of people. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine.
In fact, with your 21, you're actually going to have a problem. It's a good problem to have, though. And that is because this place is overrun with adventurers from the competition.
Oh, shit.
And because this was not a dinner celebration, but in fact a lunch and afternoon celebration that then went on into the night, you could spend many hours, even during daylight, to persuade people. And what that means is your shop is going to get like beset with adventurers. And the reason I say this is a problem is basically you should consider your shop to be sold out. If you're hoping to use your shop to like source you some potions or whatever, we really can't use your shop. It's maybe depending on what brothers and sisters.
Do I get any money, or am I
No. This is all going to your siblings. They're going to need it more than you do because you're about to become royalty and they're stuck with a shop.
Fair.
But
I drummed up some business before I leave. That's actually lovely. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, you drum up a lot of business for them.
Ken, just for shits and giggles, we talked about this and it was kind of fun. So some of the potions that they buy are actually candies instead of potions. So you get to eat a candy instead of drinking a potion, and it'll still do you with a cure light.
That's true. Your shop, Opal Lights Potions, Trinkets, and Tonics, will sell off every little thing that it's got that potentially could aid adventurers. Now, if you have things in there that aid other things, like a sleep aid or some other thing like that, things that NPCs would want as they live in town, those things are not sold out.
I have potions of, I can do Cure Light Wounds, Endure Elements, Invisibility, and then all the alchemical shit as well.
All gone. Yep. Okay, so I think that puts us to the next day, unless anybody else has got a last rejoinder. Nope.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna go spend
mean-
time with the family and say my goodbyes.
I
Excellent.
mean, Alyssa could gamble, but she's already seen that gambling can lose you pretty much everything. So I think she,
It's like, this is a good stopping point.
yeah, quit while you're ahead.
And isn't that the problem with every gambler? Is that most of them don't
Never quit
ever
when they're ahead.
know when to quit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the competition is done. The day is done. The day is won. And you all head to bed in various locations. These can be your homes, if you've got homes. It can be an inn if you need to stay at an inn. Inn fees are a little bit higher than normal because of the crowds, so it is going to be 3 gold a night. So if you
Damn.
need to stay at an inn, dock 3 gold off your character sheet. The inn fee does come with breakfast in the morning, though. So you're going to go into whatever happens next well fed. They'll send you on your way well. And we're now in the next day, and you guys are going to head over to the western side of the map where there's this lush green area with the keep and castle with the walls to protect it. And as you head over there, there is a crowd. It isn't nearly as big as what you saw yesterday. It's not thousands of people. It's not hundreds of people. But it is very clear that it is more than just the victors. There are some hangers-on. There are some even like, I guess what you might call like hero worshippers, simps. There are a few cute girls, a few cute guys who are like, oh my, you should definitely come hang out with us after. And
The Sims have arrived.
there are some simps. And there are even a couple that clearly already got lucky. And they're like, like Maegar Varn is getting a kiss and sent on the way. And she's like, you did so well. You definitely don't need backup, do you? And then off he goes confidently into the keep. And there are a number of other people who are standing at the gates like vying. And you can tell, no checks needed. You can tell some of these are people who you competed with yesterday. They're still trying to sell themselves. They're like, you should bring us in. Bring us in. We can be part of your party. We can be part of your party. I would love it if Gawain would give me a perception check.
Well, I was waiting for this.
Uh-oh.
I was going to say that if Alyssa sees the person she gambled for, she is going to do whatever it takes to hide herself from that person.
Holy moly! You absolutely see it. In fact, I'm going to give you some detail here. The person that you convinced to do that
Yeah.
did it. In fact, I just described Maegar Varn as going in confidently after he got a kiss from a simp, from someone who was, all over him. And you note that when he walks in, he is flanked by a stranger you haven't seen on the left, and on the right is your dude. And Maegar just walks right in. And as he walks in, they're stopping for the coins as you get up to the castle area. They're stopping for the tokens. And Maegar produces a token. The person to his left produces a token. The person to his right does not produce a token. And then there's a little discussion with someone at the door. And then they're like, oh, well, okay. And then he's let in too.
Good for him.
It
Good.
wasn't a bluff
Good
check
for
after
him.
all. He was
Awesome.
just hyping him up.
Okay, that actually makes Eslia feel better about the
I
session.
love that.
Feel better about the session.
Oh, hi, baby.
So,
Hi, baby.
at this point, you guys are free to enter if you're interested.
All right. Well, given that you said that it was going to be a bit of a shindig for of high-ish court and etiquette, I'm going to go ahead and instead of wearing my usual explorer's outfit, I'm going to wear my courtier's outfit with the jewelry.
Hot damn, let's go. All right. So Geek of Fury going all out with Storbjorn. And what about the rest of you? Guys heading in?
Is Storbjorn stuff in the bra?
No, and honestly, his idea of what courtier looks like is probably a little weird because he's from Viking land, basically. So, I mean, his is like, there's leathers and there's furs and there's, he looks like a northern barbarian Viking man who would be well off. But he doesn't necessarily, it's not like silks and velvets and, he's not a namby-pamby. But he looks like a very, he looks like a Northman of means.
Really good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So let me put you on a new map. Wait. Do I need to hear from anybody else? Does anybody else want to say what they're doing?
Alyssa's just going to
well,
find the people she agreed to go with, and she's going to brandish her token and be like, see, I got one. I won't hold you guys back.
Nice.
Excellent.
I like the idea. I'll meet up with the other two people I've already said I want to be in my party, Alyssa and Zephyr. What is it? What?
Zephyros.
Zephyros. I want to call you Zephyros. I'll meet up with Zephyros and Alyssa and say hi. And I'm also dressed semi-nicely. I have the artisan's outfit instead of the traveler's outfit. So I'll try and do my makeup that morning and get my hair looking all cute or something.
I'm in my very best outfit, which is just the normal explorer's outfit.
Okay. Excellent. So those of you that come in good outfits, you find you are well received, very appreciated. Those of you that show up in, either like actual combat gear, like ready to adventure, or you show up in, like not a noble's outfit, not a courtier's outfit, not something nice. You'll find that you are also like nicely received, but not afforded as many kindnesses, I guess you could say. There are going to be a number of servants here. There are going to be a number of other people here helping. I've put you on a map for one of the locations where they're basically going to have a celebratory meal. And this table, I don't think is going to be enough for everyone, although it is going to be squeezing rules around the table, which is how people normally sit in the real world. The 5-foot squares, those are typically what you have in combat where you need space to swing your weapon. When most of us as normal humans sit at a normal table, we're under squeezing rules, and it doesn't even feel like we're under squeezing rules because all you need at that point is just elbow room. So as you go around the table, you're going to see that they can put in probably about 10 people on each side, and then another like 4 people on the narrow ends on each narrow end. They're going to be able to get about 28 to 30 people around this little table that you see where I've put you next to. There are people coming and going. There's a bustle as food is brought out. Jamandi will stand at the head of the table, which I think we'll probably say is like right where I'm pinging. And you guys can arrange yourselves around the table however you'd like. And there'll be a lot of milling about as things are prepped. So you guys will get like 5, 10, 15 minutes to talk to people while the table's getting set. Then the table will be set. You'll be called to seat. There'll be a little bit of time to maybe eat like an initial something, maybe like a very light first course. And then Jamandi Aldori will speak. Go ahead.
Is this the table, or
Yeah.
are these the tables?
No. There is a lovely table on the inside, I agree. But this is her big, large meeting table that she's going to go at here. I think it probably looks like a pen, actually, but we're going to use it as a table. This whole area in the courtyard has been set up for like a large gathering.
Okay, gotcha.
So as you come around that table, and as servants begin to bring food and so on, she will eventually begin to speak, and she basically clues you in to the module. She tells you that there is potential civil war that is going to break out in Brevoy, the country you're in. Not the stolen lands, nothing about the stolen lands at the start. The big issue, she tells you, potentially civil war in Brevoy. She'll give you the backstory and lore if you guys don't know it already. And the basic gist of it is that Brevoy used to be 2 different countries, one known as Isia and one known as Rostland. One was to the north, one was to the south. And about I think some hundreds of years ago, dragon riders flew into the countries and took the countries by force. Mass number of dragons, mass number of dragon riders.
Oh, damn.
They defeated all armies, and they forced the two countries together, dropped the border between them, renamed it Brevoy, and took over. The person who did this was known as Coral the Conqueror. And
Coral is not a very intimidating name, just saying.
Fair enough. Coral wins the war, destroys all opposition, forces the countries to be united, and then spends the next some hundreds of years ruling over those countries, and apparently has a weirdly long life, but eventually vanishes, eventually is either dead, gone, something. There are descendants who attempt to take over, and some do successful takeovers and some don't. But the basic gist of it is that right now, as it stands, Coral has been gone for a while. And other leaders have been gone for a while. And while there are descendants and they are in Brevoy, Jamandi Aldori doesn't know how that's going to shape out, how it's going to shake out. She's extremely worried that there's going to be a civil war, that the countries are going to break apart, and that one of the two sides is going to have a profound victory over the other, and she's worried that it won't be her side. So she has decided, what if she could ally with the Stolen Lands? And she looked into it, and she realized nobody controls the Stolen Lands. There's nobody to ally with. So what if she sent a group in to take it over and basically become lords and ladies and kings and queens and princes and princesses, and maybe then she could ally with that. And she realized the Stolen Lands are too hard to hold. They're too difficult to tame. If she sends an adventure group in, well, guess what? A dozen other times in history, a dozen other countries have sent people in to tame the Stolen Lands, and a dozen times they failed. So she's held the competition, first of all, to weed out the weakness and find the best that she can find. That's the first thing. She hopes that gives her a leg up. And then she told you to split into 4 teams because she has decided the best thing she could do, both in terms of ease for taking the land and also in terms of guaranteeing herself some safety with redundancy, and also in terms of potentially having multiple allies. She has decided to carve up the Stolen Lands into 4 long, narrow strips. And she is going to send out 4 teams to the 4 locations, and she's going to do her best to match you to difficulties so that, a team of 3rd level adventurers doesn't go to the 10th level area, and a team of 10th level adventurers doesn't go to a 1st level area. She's trying to suss your skill sets out. She was watching very intently during the competitions. She's watching you now as you eat and talk. She's trying to figure out what's going to be best for whom. And so over the course of the next hour or 2, as plates are delivered and meal is eaten, and then there's more plates that are delivered and more meal is eaten, and then there's desserts and there's more desserts.
Dessert.
Over the course of all this time, she is going to lay out in the center of the table a map of the Stolen Lands, and she's going to show you how she intends to divvy it up. She's going to show you where she intends for people to go. She's going to put Maegar Varn into one of the harder areas. She's going to put a couple other people into another area. She's asking who's divided up into groups. She's assessing the groups. And finally, she's going to come to Shadow and Zankt. Because Shadow and Zankt, you two won fair and square, and you've already started to form a team. She has no idea about Geek of Fury and no idea about Gawain. So she's going to turn to Shadow, and she's going to turn to Zankt, and she's going to say to your characters, how about you? How do we assess you? What does your team look like now?
Well, let's see. So far, we've assembled a team of 3, and then I'll point out who they are. we probably need one other. Are there any unpaired people left?
Oh, there are multiple unpaired. Yes. Go ahead.
I whisper. I think I'm quiet, but I'm not that quiet to Aloria. That guy looks pretty tough. I see a symbol of Gorm on him.
Wait, does
He's
Geek
a Desmond. He's a Desmond.
Yeah,
Des-
I was gonna say I don't think
Wrong
he's
one.
Gorham.
What?
Um,
I thought it was a Gorm guy.
No,
He
that
was
was
in
my
my last
character in Old Man's last game.
Oh, well, forget you then.
In fact, I think the artificial intelligence that worked up some of my character art sort of very intelligently surmised that the Norwegian translation of my name, my first name, is Great Bear, and so
Do you
the
get bear on
symbol
your
on the
armor?
breastplate is the face of a bear. So. Yeah, no, I'm sure I look pretty tough.
Bear warrior.
Yes, given that I am 6'8" and 325-ish pounds.
Good lord.
Yeah,
You're an
Oh yeah,
orc.
we were mathing this out.
I'm half orc.
I
Yeah.
mean, not bad.
I'm a big dude.
Well, I'm going to pair you guys up then without you needing to do anything, because based on what Geek and Fury's just described about his character, Storbjorn, and based on his performance yesterday, where he was kind of actually intimidating a little bit during his show in front of the judges, what will happen then is Jamandi Aldori will look at the tallest dude at the table and say to him, "Well, you're not with anyone. Why aren't you with them?"
He looks at Zephyros and just says, "You seem a competent and well put together warrior. I heard that you were among the quickest of the winners in the brawl." And
You could say that.
Everybody give me a perception check.
Ooh.
Perception check.
It's minor, but you might have picked up on something when Geek said that.
let's see.
Oh, I bet I know. Is it the guy? Is he pissed he didn't get first?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
Waiting for rolls.
I didn't roll very well.
You said perception, right?
Right.
Ooh, look at us
11,
just
12,
tragically average.
10. Nobody gets it. 10. Nobody gets it. I have no info for you. Okay.
Okay.
Tragically
Hey,
average.
you know what? We're not starting at first level, but this is still a low level game. A series of 10s is to be expected. So carry on. You're talking to Zephyros. What do you want to say?
And as I recall, you were the winner of the healing competition. So
That's
as
true.
someone
Yeah.
who will need his wounds mended, I think we would make a good team. I will join you.
Very excited. It'll be good to work with you.
When Jamandi Aldori hears that, she smiles and says, "That looks really good. That's some incredible warriors with some incredible healers. I'm thinking well of this." And at that point, she's going to point to a spot on the map. And I'm going to give you a tiny portion of the map right now as something you can view. I'm going to show you your initial journey. This is not the full map. There is a full map that shows all 4 quadrants, but I'm just going to give you a little piece right now.
Ooh, okay. Let's see here.
So, this is the base of Brevoy, the southern point of Brevoy, and you'll see on the right side of the screen is Restov, the town that you're currently in. You note that Restov is near the water. And you'll note that if you go to the west, you're going to come across something called Nivakta's Crossing. And you will note that Maegar Varn is going to go to Nivakta's Crossing and then turn south down into what's called North Dunsward. That's a part of the Stolen Lands. You are being told to go west, past Nivakta's Crossing, past Fort Serenko, all the way over to Oleg's trading post on the far left of the map.
Okay.
From Oleg's trading post, you will then go south, and you are going to attempt to claim what is called the Southern Green Belt, as you see it there on the left side of the map.
Okay.
That is what she's gonna do for you, so that's where she wants you guys to go. She states that once you're off and running, she's gonna give you like a writ, some kind of demand, that a written paper that you can use, that basically gives you authority to be in the region and clear it of any brigands, any enemies, anything that would oppose you being there. Once you have it cleared, you're going to report back into her, and she's going to then attempt to help you establish yourselves as some kind of lord system in place. She's not very clear on the details yet. If you can potentially claim a large enough area, she would even have you be named kings and queens and declare you a country. But she just wants to see progress on clearing the area first, because she will point out, she's pointing this out to everyone who's being assigned an area, it's a nightmare. Nobody can hold these locations.
Oh, lovely.
She's trying to give you maybe like a lighter area than she gave to Maegar Varn. She's trying to give you an area that she doesn't think is as murderously bad. And that might help you a little bit in your expedition. But it's still going to be rough going. And she says, you can use Oleg's trading post as a base of operations. You could he's got places to sleep. It's not great. He's literally just a trading post with some beds. But she says you could potentially use that as a base and then just like do excursions out from there until you establish yourselves deeper into the land. And she says, if you get into real trouble, you can pull all the way back. Come back to Fort Serenko, come back to Nivakta's Crossing, come back to Restov. She does note a little bit about it, though. She does tell you that if you are hoping to do big purchases, you probably want to do them in Restov. Restov is a big city. It's able to handle big purchases. Nivakta's Crossing is literally just like a waterway village. It does have a number of houses, but it's a waterway village. It's not going to be like a great adventuring location. Fort Serenko is literally just a guard base, because the guards use that as like a midway point between Restov and Oleg's. That's as far as the guards go. Oleg's is kind of the farthest away from Restov that anyone patrols. They typically follow along the road that you're seeing on that map there, the road that goes from east to west. They follow along the road. They follow along that waterway.
All of a sudden, old man is frozen for me. I'm going to leave and come right back. Sorry.
Do your thing. Am I okay for everybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Fort Serenko is like a midway point for the guards. Oleg's trading post is about as far out as guards will get. They typically stay along the roads. They don't venture deep into the stolen lands. Firstly, because it's past their borders. They're not supposed to. You can
About
see,
how far out are we talking here? Like days travel?
Oh, that's a great question, because I don't think it's shown on this map, is it? Hold on. Let me pull up another map that actually has a legend on it. They are 12.
12. Okay.
So each hex is 12 across. Now that's from
Point to point or
I
side to
think
side?
I think that's from point to point.
Point to point. Okay.
So it's 12 across like that, which probably actually does make it 10 across roughly if you're going from flat side to flat side. I suspect point to point is a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But if we add that up, that should be roughly 10 to 12. Let's see here. That would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Oh, it literally does come out to about 90. Yeah. Okay, that's about right then. So it's about 90 miles to the west of Restov is Oleg's. And they do want to give you one more little tidbit, and that is Fort Serenko, by the time you get to it, is probably abandoned.
Okay.
There may be like one remaining guard there, but all their guards were basically recalled to Restov for this competition, and it's going to take some time before they restore anything. This was a big deal, and they don't think the city is going to be safe for a while. They need all the adventurers to filter out of the city, and they're not all going to go in a day. In fact, some of the heroes won't go in a day because some of the heroes are already talking about what they're going to need to do to stock up and take this thing on.
I'd love to know what kind of time frame we're working with.
So there's literally 0 time frame, and I say that both in a meta sense and in a game sense. Meta sense, this game is traditionally, most dungeon masters, game masters, and players will say this is the most open-ended of all campaigns that Paizo ever did. There will be probably a 1-year break between every single module. So you should expect you're going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years older by the time this whole thing ends. In addition, because of the like sort of loosey-goosiness of that, and because you have the ability to sort of like run back to Restov if you really needed to. I mean, it's a long journey. You wouldn't do it trivially, but if you really needed to, you should expect there'll be big gaps, right? You clear half the area, can't handle more, go to Restov, stock up, come back to clear the other half of the area, something like that. Big gaps. Now, don't let that fool you though. Don't shut your brains off if you get into something like a kidnapping situation or something. Just because it's loosey-goosey for most of it, if people are depending on you to save their asses, then they're depending on you to save their asses. But you get to go at your own pace. You can hear some people are talking about how they're going to trek out next day. Some people talking about trekking out next week. People are talking about buying up gear. One person's talking about wanting to get a weapon made. And if he needs to get a weapon made, he's not leaving in the next day. So
a while. Yeah.
Right. The only sense of urgency that you're going to have is Jamandi Aldori will tell you she's hoping at least one of you, one of the 4 groups, can take over an area and establish themselves and grow. Like actually get a town formed, actually have people there, actually have armed guards like Restov, like actually become a thing over the course of the next few months or year. Because like she said, she thinks Restov is about to get caught up in a civil war. And her desperate hope is you guys form countries, ally with the city of Restov, and so that if the 2 countries break apart and it's Isia versus Rostland instead of Brevai United, she's hoping that you'll side with her and her country to the south, and she'll have backup.
Makes sense, yeah.
She will try to back you guys up as long as there isn't civil war. And what that means is she may throw money at you guys. Now, I don't think there's money at the start right now because she's waiting for you to prove yourselves. Let me just check in the module to be sure about that. I think she's going to give you a writ, and there might be some kind of starting funds, but I believe this is just the 3,000 gold you already have. And then you try to make a name for yourself. But if you need to do things like when you get into the area, if you settle the area a little bit and you want to do things like extend the roads south to your whatever town you start setting up, she can have people come in and start building roads out. If you want to start building out, say, walls around your city or getting help with the city, she could potentially try to help fund that. Again, on the assumption that she isn't caught up in a civil war before you guys do it. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. I'm checking in the module. It looks like you're starting. The module is expecting you to start at first level with like 100 gold. So there's definitely no financial reward for this competition. It's basically just the writ, which is basically a deed to the land, and how well the land goes for you is up to you guys. At this point, though, I should give you the writ.
Ooh.
I have the handout for you. This is the writ.
Ooh.
So let me put this in front of you all. Show to everyone. Now that is going to look like text. It's actually an image. You can click on it to make it large on screen. And if somebody would like to read that out loud for the viewers, that would be awesome.
I pass. I did it last time.
All right, I got it. Be it known that the bearer of this charter has been charged by the Sword Lords of Restov, acting upon the greater good and authority vested within them by the office of the Regent of the Dragonscale Throne, to explore and travel within the wilderness region known as the Green Belt. Exploration should be limited to an area no further than 36 miles east and west and 60 miles south of Oleg's trading post. The carrier of this charter should also strive against banditry, and other unlawful behavior to be encountered. The punishment for unrepentant banditry remains, as always, execution by sword or rope. So witnessed on this 24th day of Calistril under watchful eye of the Lordship of Restov and authority granted by Lord, I'm not sure how to say that, Noleski Sertova, current regent of the Dragon Scale Throne.
Yes. Now, you'll note that Jamandi Aldori's name is not on here. Lord Noleski Sertova, I had hinted at or mentioned in the opening when they were describing what happened with Korol the Conqueror. That when Korol basically vanished, and the dragons vanished, and the country seemed like it might be veering towards civil war, that there were still some survivors, descendants, remnants of Korol the Conqueror's reign, and that they might potentially take over and try to lead the country. And I believe that the Sertovas have something to do with that. I'm not sure that the Sertova family is considered to be direct descendants. I don't know how it all works in that case, but they are the leader of the Dragon Scale Throne. This is the leader not of just the country of Restov that you're in, not of the city of Restov that you're in, but also this person is leading the entire country with all cities, the whole country of Brevoy. Now, there might be something interesting there, because if you have a writ from the leader of the whole country, but the leader of the town is worried about a civil war, that's interesting. Is she allied with Sertova? Like, how is that working out exactly? But in any case,
could we make a knowledge nobility check to kind of get some insight into what's going on?
Yeah, you could certainly try it. Go ahead. Give me nobility.
Awesome. Knowledge nobility. Maybe.
Wow, that's incredible.
Oh, that is great.
I'm going to give you an answer that's just general, incredibly smart intuition about nobility. You think that Jamandi Aldori wrested this out of Lord Noleski Sertova's hands, got these writs through any means necessary, sort of like you guys getting tokens. Like, she was desperate to get this thing going, and as you stand there looking at the writ, your brain is firing and you're like, I don't know if Noleski Sertova knows what he signed, but it's to your advantage. It's to your great advantage. But you're looking at that going, she might have misrepresented something to get the king or the, regent. She might have been nefarious to get him to sign it. She might have begged to get him to sign it. She might have bribed to get him to sign it. Because the moment that the dude who's seeing over the country starts signing writs that allow citizens to go south and form countries that may then potentially back up Restov in a civil war, Noleski Sertova is not going to be like, hey, like he's not like, oh yeah, let's look forward to a civil war and let's see how we can, get one side to win over the other. Like, the Sertovas that's not okay. How they would operate, which means Jamandi had to work her little ass off to put this in place.
All right. Well, I guess I'm probably not going to say anything at the table with everyone. I'll probably share that, when we're alone.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Jamandi Aldori does not know you made that knowledge check, and so she's just treating everything like everything's just humming along. And so she's going to note as you guys are handed this, and the other groups are also handed similar writs for different areas. She will say to you, keep it safe. Put it in a scroll case, something that's designed to protect it from water damage. Put it somewhere, put it in a chest, keep it safe. Pull it out when you have to pull it out. Otherwise, don't. Because this is essentially your protection in an extremely hostile place. And if you were to do something stupid, like toss it across the table at an enemy, and they just shred the thing to pieces, you're going to be sad. So keep it, use it as a diplomatic thing, use it as an intimidation thing, if it's even needed, but take good care with it. And so you get the sense as you sort of mill about, make your way out, start figuring out what your plans are for all of this, and start figuring out what kind of speed you want to go out. Do we want to leave in a day? Do we want to leave in a month? As you start figuring that out, she's kind of cheering you on. She's like, I don't have cash for you. This is relying on you guys having your own strength. That's what we tested for. But come back to me when you tame some of this land. We need to talk again. If you've got any kind of victory out there, and we'll try to start building things out. I'll try to help. And once said and done, people start going. And you guys are now free. It's kind of open-ended at this point.
First things first, I want to buy a scroll case. I already bought it.
Good.
For our nice little writ, and it specifically says it's waterproof. So
Excellent.
Awesome. Is it,
her
fireproof?
Her writ.
I don't know about that. You can get a mithril scroll case, but it's 800 gold, and I'm not dropping 800 gold on.
Because I'm worried. The thing I'm most worried about, instead of water, I'm worried that we're going to show the writ to someone and be like, we have this. And if they're any kind of mage, they're just going to set it on fire and be like, no, you don't. That'd be my go-to.
I will say that they have done this not on parchment paper. They've done it on what I think is called vellum, which I believe the lore for vellum is that it was very thinly pulled animal skin.
Oh yeah.
Which is what I think they also use. Vellum is what they use for magical scrolls. It's supposed to be slightly resistant. It's not perfect. If somebody blasts it with fire, it's definitely in trouble. But I also am not going to have it go up in flames instantly like it's flash paper. There should be a hot second for you guys to deal with it.
How do you spell vellum?
Vellum.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If we're getting the group together, Alyssa's kind of gonna give. It's not like a hostile side eye, but she is gonna give Storbjorn like a bit of a side eye in that I don't recall seeing you among the winners. How did you? Are you like me? Did we have the same idea?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I am champion.
Wait, Giga, if you're really saying that, do a bluff check. Do a roll.
I love that.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Wow. I'm a champion and a winner, and I'm going to be a king now.
Wow.
Can I sense motive?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hilarious.
I will be shocked if you can beat his bluff. That would be incredible.
I mean, I'm technically possible for me to beat it, but I wouldn't put money on it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, you believe it. You believe
so
every
hard.
word. I'm a champion, and I'm soon I'm going to be a king.
Wow, you must have just not seen him at one of the competitions.
Yeah, I guess I missed him.
At this point, I'm gonna throw the map back up.
I mean, sorry, Gawain, but Alyssa, I don't care if you approve or not. Like, no, I'm totally.
It's not like she's got space to judge.
No, I get that, but I'm just like, more people that believe I'm legit, the better. And technically, like I said, I made the 25. I just did it with somebody other than the judges.
And I said, I think even the judges might kind of nod at that a little bit. They're trying to find people who can push through and win. I kind of feel like that's a way to do it. So I have pulled the map back up for myself. You guys can pull it up or not, depending on what you want to look at. But I'm looking at the map. I see Restov on the right, then Nivakta's Crossing, Fort Serenko, Oleg's Trading Post, and then the Green Belt down south. You guys are free to have at this at this point. If you want to pause and build stuff, if you want to go shopping, if you want to start your journey, if you are going to start a journey, I do want to know if you're going to be on foot, if you're going to be on pack animals or what. Yeah, just let me know what you're doing.
Well,
I went and bought myself a horse.
I don't have the money to go shopping, so I guess I'm good to go whenever.
I will need to earn more money before I can buy a horse.
Something I do want to ask is
Thank you've
I can make four Cure Light Wounds potions a day. Does anyone want a Cure Light Wounds potion, and how long should I spend crafting? It'll cost 25 gold if I make it.
Yeah, so does anybody want a cheap potion?
Sure.
Well, I bought 6. I guess that's it. You know,
You're good with that?
Already.
I might spend one day just making them.
If I had known that I was going to have crafter available, then I would have
Mhm.
waited, but I
I'll-
didn't. So
Yeah.
I'll buy a half price one, but then I'm very, very, very low.
Okay, I'll buy if you're gonna do one, then we'll say I spend 2 days. I'll make 8 total. I'll keep 7 for myself.
yeah, I specifically didn't buy a whole bunch of magic items or magic anythings,
Mhm.
except for a few potions, because I wanted to make sure I had a good chunk of equipment to help me adventure.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's what I
wait.
spent my money on. It's why I have a horse.
We need to make sure everybody has 2 water skins and like 20 trail rations. He will make us starve to death if we are idiots.
It is true. That was
Okay.
actually going to be my next question was, as you go out, who has food?
Also, we need like bedrolls and shit.
Got a bedroll.
I have some food.
I should probably pick up a tent and water and food.
I might want to get a pack something or another. We're
And
gonna
you-
get a tent because I can't carry one.
You do know that the trip to Oleg's is about 90 miles, so you could plot that out and
How
figure out how
long
much
is
you
that
need.
by walking? Like, how long is it gonna take us to move? I think some of us are at a 20-foot movement speed, though, right?
Yeah, we could look that up.
Maybe we could get a cart. I don't know. Do you need 2 horses to pull a cart, or can you do it with 1?
You can do it with one. They just carry less or pull less.
I don't know. Do you think they could pull all the people in our equipment?
Well, what's the horse's strength modifier?
Okay, so a 20-foot move speed is listed as letting you do 1 day overland walking is 16 miles. It's 1 full hex plus a little bit extra.
Okay, so yeah, I'd like to try to do that. And then what's the horse has got like a is it a light horse?
No, it's a heavy war horse.
Okay, let me look that up real fast.
The heavy warhorse, it says, moves at a speed of 50 if it's lightly encumbered.
Okay,
if you're
let's see.
going to give it a wagon or something, it's definitely going to be heavy, which will knock it down a bit. But I don't think it's going to knock it down to 20, so it should be fine.
Yeah, but its strength is 20, so it's actually pretty strong. And then since it has 4 legs, its carrying capacity is like doubled or something like that. I
I
think.
think it's more than that.
Yeah,
Actually,
we
no,
could
it's fine.
probably. I like the idea of getting a wagon. Let me see how much a wagon costs real fast. And going a little faster.
A horse that is that has a load, and it's not lightly loaded, it's medium or heavy. It's slowed down to 35 feet of movement, and the movement table gives us overland distances for 30 feet and 40 feet, and you're right between that. You're 35. So if you're at 30 feet, you can go 24 miles. If you're at 40 feet, you go 32. If we split the difference, that would mean your horse at 35 feet of movement goes about 28 miles in a
That's
day.
pretty good.
And so you wouldn't quite get to Oleg's after 3 days. You would camp a few miles out from Oleg's, and then you would get to Oleg's the next day, like probably before lunch would be the idea. So you do 3 days of full on movement, and then the 4th day you would do partial, like in the morning you would do movement.
Okay, a light wagon is 4 squares and costs 50 gold. A medium wagon is 6 squares. I think we could. How much stuff do we have? Can we get away with 4 squares since there's 4 of us, or would we probably need 6 to carry our bullshit?
Oh, I'd stick to 4.
I'm
if
kind
you
of
could.
asking old man about this.
No, I would
since
stick to
he's the
4 if
GM.
you could. Don't overburden that horse too much.
Okay,
I
so
mean, it's a heavy horse, but I mean, it's one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I don't
sit
mind.
in the front seat and hope that a halfling jumps into my lap.
Okay, wizard.
Apologies. I'm just going to go ahead and sit. I should sit at the front since the horse is mine and we have a relationship. It knows me. It trusts me. And then as far as
I'll buy the wagon.
yeah, I was going to say I don't want to contribute since I'm contributing the horse.
Yeah, I saved some extra money. I don't mind buying the wagon.
Okay.
There we go. So we'll have somebody on the horse. We'll have the rest of you in the back. And it is true that Shadow's character is going to be a tiny little flyer and really doesn't even need to be on it at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. If the horse is overloaded, I can just flutter beside you guys.
Yeah. I'm ready to fast forward you to leaving Restov unless you have other stuff you want to do.
I think I'm good.
I was just gonna make it clear that I'm buying some trail rations, and that's it.
Great. Great.
Trail rations and water skins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, you will note that you are going to be moving along the length of the Shrike River. You can kind of see it on the map. The trail that you do leaving Restov, it clearly follows the river. And it's clear that the towns that you're going to pass through, like Nivakta's Crossing, they're clearly river towns. So you are going to have waterways that you could take advantage of. But you do have a problem, which is, I mean, those waterways may not be guaranteed fresh water. There, you could get pond scum, biological blah blah, all sorts of bad things could be in there, bacteria. But it may be a way to, refill.
All right, well then I guess we're gonna have to get like a tea kettle or something to go over the fire so we can boil the water so that it's clean and whatnot.
I already have a teapot and tea leaves.
Good. Then I don't need to buy one.
I bought it for flavor.
Good.
For tea flavor or character?
Yes, both. Character flavor and tea flavor. I'm a tea girly in real life, and my character's an herbalist, so it felt like it fit.
So, should I start in? You guys ready?
Yeah, go for it.
You're heading out of Restov. I don't know if you're heading out of Restov one day later or a week later, because you have made some potions, it sounds like. I don't know how long all that took. But
I spent 2 days making potions.
2 days. So it's at least 2 days later that you're leaving. As you leave, someone is going to trot up next to you. In fact, two someones. First, a group is going to come up alongside of you with a particular woman, and I will give you a picture of her. Some of you may have met her before. This is Amiri. And
Amiri!
Amiri was one of the victors in the competition. And as she comes up alongside of you, she's got a little posse with her. She basically was the capture for all the stragglers, essentially. She didn't really have a team. And all the stragglers went with her, and they are now forming a team.
Damn, I could have been on Amiri's team. Is that what you're telling me?
You could have. Amiri is both very proud and very insulted at the same time. And so as she comes up alongside of you, she tells you that she was given one of the harder areas. She's going to go past the Oleg's trading post. She was given an area farther out. And she would like to ride with you guys if possible. But at least to Oleg's, then she'll go past where you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
As she's talking, you get the sense that she's very proud to be given a harder area, because to her, that implies like she's king. Like she clearly was kicking ass in the competitions. She murderified all the competitions. She thinks she's so great. She's such a badass. But also, she has an exploring party of 10. Like she got a pile of stragglers.
Oh, okay.
And she feels very insulted by that, because she's like, I don't need that many. I could have 4 like you guys have 4. But she's like, but this is what Jamandi said I had to do, so I'm doing it. So she's heading off. You guys
can we take some of hers?
They're
already assigned out, unfortunately.
They're welcome. I'll say you guys are welcome to travel with us, but our horse can't bear any more weight. So if you have a means to keep up with this, please feel free to follow along.
So she doesn't, and she's like, well, it sounds like we're going to part ways pretty quickly here, because you guys are going to start going faster than we do. Kind of a bummer, but she'll pull up on your rear if you guys slow down or stop. But I did mention that there was someone else, and I wanted to show you the someone else. This. Oh wait, I didn't even put it on for you guys. You can't even see what I'm looking at. My viewers can see it. You can't see it. Show it to players. Great.
Ooh. Oh, it's the guy.
That is Maegar Varn. And Maegar Varn has 2 companions. One companion I have no image for you, because he's made up by Gawain as we were doing stuff. But I do have another companion, and I'm going to show him to you. This is Caspar. And Caspar was one of the gentlemen that was with Maegar the whole time, and they sort of walked into the to Jamandi Aldori's castle together.
Mhm.
And so he's there as well. And then there is this small contingent that is with Maegar Varn, and it looks like he's got 10 people too. And that is
Okay.
it's not possible because you didn't have that many winners
So
at
just
the-
randos?
at the meeting of all the winners. There weren't that many people. You can't have 10 with Amiri, 10 with Maegar Varn, and then you guys 4, and then there's another group of people that is also has also formed. That's going to be way over the 20-ish, 25-ish that were there, right? So what's happening? Maegar will also join you and will ask if you're interested in traveling together, at least to where he has to break off. And he very proudly will he kind of does the same thing as Amiri. He's like, I got one of the harder areas. I'll need to not go all the way with you. But he will quickly admit he's doing his thing he does. Like he just started picking people who lost the competitions, and he's like, I added a bunch of extras in. I'll take a little posse with me. We'll see how long they last.
See, this is what I'm saying. The guy's sus.
So that's Maegar with his friend Caspar, with his other friend who Gawain introduced him to. He, in fact, does have the ability to follow you because he is on horse. Except a bunch of his posse is also not on horse. And he sort of chuckles. And he's like, we could make them run. We can make them run after the horses if you guys don't want to just move at a faster speed. We could make them run. They'll follow. So he wants to travel with you too if you're interested.
I guess it bears repeating because I typed it out. Very, very quietly, Stormbringer will say something along the lines of, perhaps slowing down for the other groups so we can all travel together. Not only will it be a boon for company and conversation, but safety and intelligence in numbers.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think
opposed
that-
to that. I was almost wondering the same thing, if we should slow our roll a little.
It will cost us more rations, but I mean, it'll be better for the horse and it'll be safer and more tactical for us. Like I said, I like a good conversation. Lots of people around to talk to.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
If you guys are interested in that, you're actually not going to slow down too much, because it's going to turn out that all the people that are walking with you right now,
Or 30.
Including Amiri, because I'm going back and saying let's change our 30. Okay.
they're all going to be 30. And I believe I even have images to show you where the 20s are. Let me see if I can show you the 20s. There was another team. It's the 4th team, the unknown team that has not left
halflings?
town yet.
Is it
Show 2
halflings?
players. Dwarf competitor
Dwarf.
number 1.
Oh, dwarves. Excellent.
Dwarf competitor number 2.
They're all dwarves?
There was a posse of dwarves, and they picked up a spare halfling who had also won one of the competitions. So
can I change teams? They're going to be more fun.
They are. These guys have not left yet. So it looks like Maegar wanted to leave like after the first day, and it looks like he was deliberately waiting for another group because he was kind of hovering around the exit. Once the groups start going and Amiri sees you and chases after you, and Maegar then is like, well, I'm going too. And so 2 days later, after you're done with all your potion brewing and everything, you're leaving, and Maegar and Amiri catch up to you. The dwarves are now nowhere to be found. The dwarves are still in town, and no, still in town. They have not gone.
Oh.
And they are clearly taking their time with it. They're like, we're in no rush. We're doing what we're doing. We'll get there when we get there. So,
Very dwarfy of them.
yeah. So all the slow movers, they're not in the posse that you've got right now. So we can do a 30-foot move speed, and let me see if I can tell you about 30-foot move speed. That means you're going to go 24 miles a day, which means you get to go through 2 of the hexes on that map. You get to go through 2 hexes each day. So let me bring that
not
map
awful.
back up. Yeah. So you'll leave Restov on the far edge of one of the hexes. You get to the far edge of the next hex and the far edge of the next hex. So basically you could get to Nivakta's crossing on your first day. You'd arrive at Nivakta's crossing, and you would get there kind of before you were out of time for your movement. Like maybe like an hour or 2 before you needed to rest, which is actually really nice because it means if you want to stop at Nivakta's, You could potentially all just like take over that little town for the night and, bed up and then take off from there. Or if you really wanted to, you could push past Nivakta's right to the edge of that hex and all camp on the trail if you wanted.
I like the idea of camping, or not camping, of stopping in Nivakta's crossing. However you said it.
Seems like a place where we can get information.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, I wouldn't mind before we set off. Can we do some knowledge checks about the area? I bought some maps and like compasses and shit to help us get around.
Absolutely.
But it would be nice just to have an idea of things as well.
Yeah, why don't we do a ton of checks? We'll start with you're on your way out.
I'm bad at this, but I'm hoping someone else is not bad at this.
I mean, you can give any gear you have to your friends to use, but there sometimes the gear has stipulations. Like I think a blue book you have to read for an hour in the morning, and other things. So you want to look at the items that you've purchased to make sure that they are usable by your friends and you don't have to spend time with them. But we could do, you're heading out in the morning. You've heard from Maegar Varn, you've heard from Amiri. There are teams going out, and there's another dwarven group, but they're not going out yet. And if you guys want to do some checks right now as you're still near Restov, we can start with that.
Well, I might as well just take a 10 because I can't get more than a 10. So I'll take a 10 and get an 11.
And what is this for? What do you want to find out?
Specifically, I was wondering what kind of climate and animals we might run into on the way.
Okay, that sounds great. So I actually have a really cool calendar that has been made for Kingmaker that will chart your years through the campaign and even chart weather patterns and so on. I didn't make it. Somebody else made it. It's absolutely incredible. All I know is it's Callisto, and if the big competition was on the 15th and you're leaving 2-3 days later, it's the 17th, 18th as you're leaving. I don't have that calendar up right now, and I don't want to go hunting for it because we really only have like 15, 20, 30 minutes left before we should call it quits for the day. So what we'll do is between sessions, I'll grab that calendar and I will tell you what the weather's going to look like as you move forward. I'll tell you whether we're in like winter, spring, summer, fall. I believe that you're in spring heading towards summer, but don't hold me to that. I don't remember what Callisto is exactly. But for right now, what we're going to say is as you're leaving, weather is fine. But for the other part, you said knowledge geography you want to just predict weather patterns or anything else?
No, I was wondering like what are the common dangers, like wolves, bandits, that kind of stuff?
Okay, so for that, it would be knowledge local. And if you said you're capped at 10 and you've got a 10, you know one thing and one thing only. Your friends might be able to tell you more. What you know is bandits. That you are, in fact, you can see it on the map. There are 3 lines on the map. There is a yellow line going east to west, which is the road. There's a blue line going east to west, and then eventually it dips south, and that is the Shrike River. And there is another dotted or dashed line that runs just underneath the road system. That's the border of the country. And you can see the border of the country is really damn close. And you know that the moment you cross that border, you are looking at bandits, brigands, humans, orcs, half-orcs, maybe even an ogre or 2, and fae. But I can't tell you much about fae because you only got a 10.
Sad.
If anybody else wants to try checks, you can do that too, but that's what you've got.
What sort of checks are you looking for?
It depends on what you're asking, but if you want something similar to what Shadow just did, you'd want to do a knowledge local.
Okay. What did I get? Oh, hey, look at that.
Hot damn. Okay. So you guys are moving along, and Shadow's not playing Shadow. Shadow's character has been Aloria. Shadow's character has been asking, or maybe even talking to herself a little bit, like, I'm a little concerned about what we're going to find out here on the road, and maybe even go ahead. Maybe even talking to some of the other NPCs like Amiri or Maegar Varn, anybody else. Just like, what do you guys know? What are we going to find out here? I'm worried about bandits, but what else? Storbjorn, you know a lot. Now, there are a lot of critters out in the lands, and a knowledge local check shouldn't know all of them because you need different knowledge checks for different types of monsters. But what I'm about to tell you is sort of like maybe what you've picked up as you moved through the area, as you came toward here. You have an advantage that the others don't, and that is You weren't in Restov. You came from outside, meaning you have potentially walked across some of this land just in recent memory.
Yeah, actually, because I came from Galt. That's where I happened to be when I got the handbill. So I was coming through the River Kingdoms and the Stolen Lands to get to Restov.
Exactly. And so you may have a little bit of firsthand knowledge. In fact, maybe you started your journey at level 2, worked your way through the River Kingdoms, got yourself to level 3. Who knows what's happened with you exactly? I mean, you know what's happened, but I'm just saying you might have some hands-on experience here. And so your knowledge check tells you that this place is polluted with fae, much more than you would expect to see in a forest region. There's always going to be fae here or there. There'll be a woodland creature. There'll be a dryad inhabiting a tree. There'll be a naiad inhabiting a river. But you may have, for example, either heard of or directly experienced something very mischievous, which is some fae will fiddle with adventurers and wanderers without openly attacking them or other things. Maybe just to annoy them, scare them off, get them moving. So either you have heard,
amuse themselves.
Yeah, you have heard that or experienced that somebody been messing with backpacks. Like either you or someone you talk to opened a backpack in the morning to get out some rations to eat and leave, and there were no rations. There was like the backpack was emptied, and you realized like it's not a brigand who stole everything, because you had other things that were more valuable that they could have stolen. The brigands weren't stealing your best gear. This was a fae creature just being mischievous and just being like, if you're gonna stay here, you're gonna starve. And you just realize like, I got to get the hell out of here.
Damn Oglins.
Right? So you know there's fae. You know there's woodland creatures. Another thing you know about the area that you potentially are moving through, there are herds. And when I say herds, I don't mean like current 2026 herds that you see in the real world. I mean the kind of herds that like, you know, pilgrims saw when they were coming across the Americas back before we destroyed everything. Like there are potentially herds of buffalo, bison, other like grazer type creatures that would just come across the lands here in mass numbers, not hundreds, but thousands, maybe tens of thousands. And because we're talking about massive open areas here, you can kind of even see it on the little bit of the map that I've shown you so far. You're moving toward Oleg's and the Green Belt, and that's a forested area. But you'll note that there's also this area called the outskirts right below Oleg's trading post. It doesn't have a lot of trees on it. It's literally just plains. It's just grassland, and it's just dozens and dozens and dozens of miles of grassland. You're going to find a lot of wandering animals out there.
Good.
So
Sounds like lunch to me.
Buffalo, aurochs, you know, they make great steak.
yeah, you may have some fighting problems too. I mean, if you get a herd of axebeak,
Yeah, it could be
they
less than
tasty
fun.
chicken, but they also ouchie chicken. So you know you're
Tiny
looking at some of that.
dinosaurs.
Yep. And then the last thing that you would note, which may be important, is that at least in the forested regions, maybe in other regions, hunters do stake claims. You may not know how big a hunter's area or space is that they're claiming, but they'll mark it. You can typically find markings on trees. Lots of hunters will carve markings on trees, but lots of other hunters will use ribbons or flags. So you're going to find a lot of flagged areas or ribboned areas or otherwise carved up areas. You'll find something to indicate like this is a hunter's region. It's fine to move to a hunter's region, but the moment you walk your way into a hunter's region, you need to watch out, because that means there's going to be traps there trying to capture animals. And if you are clumsy or foolish, you're going to end up being one of the trapped animals. So even though hunters are not technically opposing you, they may cause you injury if you're not careful.
There might be a problem.
Yeah. I think that's all I'm going to give you with the 23. If anybody else wants to do something before we carry on, you can.
Storbjorn will relay all that and just say, you know, keep these things in mind.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good conversation as you're walking.
Especially want to talk to Amiri. She seems awesome.
Yeah, she is big and scary, and she is she actually wants to talk to Zank's character. She's got a little chip on her shoulder, and she's a little bit upset with Zank because Amiri went in to do the brawl, and Amiri was about 2 pens down from Zank. And she got to see the start of Zank's combat encounter because the wizard hadn't come to her pen yet. And she felt like she had huge advantage, and she felt like she was going to be the best performer because she got to see what you got to fight. And so she was like, I have a huge advantage over Zank's character because he just had to go in blind. Something came out of the dirt. She's like, I get to know what you're going up against. And so when something came out of the dirt and started fighting her, she was like, oh, I got you. Unfortunately for her, it took her an extra round to take it down, and she actually got swung on, and she actually took some damage. So she's a little pissy. She's not mean pissy like she wants to fight Zank, but she's just like, how'd you do it? You were ensorcelled. You had magic. You cheated it somehow. You know, she's very suspicious. She doesn't like that you did it faster than she did.
What?
Well,
Who said magic is cheating?
What's that?
Who said magic was cheating? I don't think that was one of the rules.
Yeah, I'll be
She's
like,
making up rules. She's making up rules. So she
first
can
of all,
superior.
magic
got
wasn't against the rules.
Yeah.
But, that was one battle. There's a war ahead. I'm sure you will do quite well. You look very gifted as a warrior, and I look forward to seeing your fine form in battle.
Oh, Zank, give me a butter up roll.
Oh, I'm terrible at the butter up.
You can take a 10 if you think it's going to be a little safer.
It'll still fail with the 10.
Oh, okay.
Not that bad.
Okay.
Roll high.
But okay. Okay, fine. I'll roll. Let's see.
This is kind of the opposite of Gawain. Gawain was like, I think I want to try and say something like this. And I was like, roll. We'll see if you roll it really eloquently. Zank, for you, it's like, well, you've got a clear idea of what you want to do. Roll. Let's see how badly it bumbles.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, that is a bumble, but it's actually not terrible. I mean, I assume if you take a 10, you'd be close to the same.
That is a 10. He rolled a 10.
That is a
was-
10. Oh my
yeah.
God, you did take 10. Yep.
Yeah.
You sort of bumble through it. For everyone around you, including all of your allies,
My point is, I'm trying to show her respect.
right. And for all of your allies, they're going to cringe because they're going to be like, "Ooh, that just did not go well." But I would like everyone to give me a sense motive. Giga Fury, you know what's going to happen, huh?
No, I'm just thinking about what my sense motive is, and I'm like,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, it's about as good as his diplomacy.
Right. Okay. Well, the only person who's going to get this then is going to be Aloria. You are maybe fluttering nearby. I don't know. You're hearing it somehow. You're hanging out with them as they're moving forward.
I'm probably hanging out, yeah.
And you pick up on something about Amiri. And that is, that girl has a terrible diplomacy check. And she has a terrible sense motive. This is not what she's here for. She's already sort of like brutish and churlish as it is. And so when Zephyros is like, I look forward to seeing what you're going to do. Like, this girl just eats it up. She can't tell any deception. Can't tell any bluff. Can't tell anything. She's just like, yeah, I will do well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's right.
Given I'm a former PFS player, can I go ahead and try to make a knowledge local to see if I know anything about Amiri?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
I don't know if her background in this adventure path
Mhm.
at all lines up with her story in Pathfinder Society, like her background
Yeah,
and what I know of her.
yeah.
Is that even something that's I could potentially even with a roll know?
You absolutely can know. However, I will tell you, she has nothing to do with Pathfinder Society. Nothing you know from Pathfinder Society will apply here, aside from her typical demeanor, which I'm keeping. But you can still roll, and I'll tell you what's up if you know it.
So like nothing from her background that's on the sheet.
Right. I'm doing a total. This is my Amiri.
Totally different. Totally different.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, then there's no. I could just, based on her demeanor, I could just sort of assume, and I'm
Okay.
probably right. I don't want to make any knowledge checks and then be wrong.
Okay.
I'll just say, damn, good to have you on our side. Puts out a hand for a handshake.
Well, again, she's not great at sense motive. She's just going to take what you're saying as purely genuine. And
Well,
she
it
will
is.
meet your
He's not
handshake.
bluffing her. He's like, hell yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never seen a sword that damn big.
Right.
Hell yeah.
And actually, that sword is right out of Pathfinder. Her background is
Yeah.
quite different, but the sword is literally what
It's a
society says.
giant-sized bastard sword, so it's even
Right.
bigger than a great sword.
Right.
He's
It is
like-
bigger than a great sword. It's ridiculous.
I don't think I've ever seen a human being or humanoid person wield a sword that damn big. Hell yeah. High five.
She will take the handshake. She will take the high five, and she will be very crude once you've done that. She will literally unsheath her ridiculous sword, which she has to wear on her back because otherwise it's so tall that it would drag on the ground. She can't do a hip. She can't do a hip sheath. She has to do it across her back.
Well, no, I mean, that's the same with a great sword, too. Yeah.
Yeah. So she unsheaths it from her back, and she literally holds it at her hips, sticking out phallically. And she will tell you, I mean, I had to have a dick measuring contest with my tribe, and this is how I won it. And she seems very proud of that very crude statement. So
That's wonderful. I love it.
she just walks forward with it like that for a moment, and she's just sort of looking at her massive sword. She looks it up and down. She kind of smiles and chuckles to herself. Everybody give me another sense motive.
Not going to get this either.
Aloria's gonna laugh at that and say, I think I'm gonna like you.
Man.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
not.
I did so bad this time.
And with that, I mean, just sort of like as not as a comparison or let's compete or something, just sort of like we're trading stories, and I pull up my great axe, and it's a masterwork that been passed down through my family, blah blah blah, and it's like this has been in my family for, I believe my father said 8 generations.
Damn. Okay.
It's a masterwork great axe.
It's really nice. She will definitely admire it. She clearly is not built for, figuring out good and bad weaponry either. Boy, this woman does not put her points in any of the skills that are relevant right now.
No.
But she does again seem to take it face value. Like she just looks at you and she goes, "I think you can kill some stuff with that."
Oh, I have.
Excellent. She's pleased to hear it. And none of you really got a sense motive for what I was looking for, but she does. She's definitely taking everything you say at face value. She definitely likes the comparing of weapons, and she likes talking about like her intention is she's going to like murderize anything that gets in her way, and she's like, I will make my tribe proud. I will make my tribe envious.
I'm an Amiri fan, if you guys
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Yeah. And the only thing left to say at this point before we drop you into a location is Maegar Varn and his friend Caspar, I don't remember how you say it, but their little group, they've been pretty quiet. And when you guys were talking about like what kind of creatures could we expect to face down here and so on, after you're done talking with Amiri about all this stuff and done comparing weapons, he steers you right back to critters. And he says, I agree that we're potentially going to face Fae and wild animals. I'd love to spear a boar. And potentially
Look at
other
my
things.
wings when he says Faye.
And he says, and I intend to clear out every brigand that I can. But he says, the thing that scares me the most is Jamandi said there were a dozen, or maybe she said dozens, of previous tries at this. Not from
That is
her,
concerning.
not from her personally, but just from other countries. And so he says, my fear as we move through this area isn't for a wild boar or maybe even a giant spider. My fear is this a broken land where we may have to face the spirits that are restless, the dead that fell here that regret it, the adventurers that got trapped here and weren't able to get out alive. And he sort of shrugs. He says, it's been a long time. I'm sure, everyone's passed on, but sometimes the spirit lingers, and that's what I'm watching for.
I'll say to him, I have a few powers that are effective against undead.
He chuckles and says, you want to join my party?
Mr. Varn, you are a storied you are a storied hero. I'm sure you will be fine.
Good compliment. Give me a check. Give me a diplomacy.
Okay.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
he likes me.
Look,
That's the highest roll we've had in the game so far. Hot damn. Dang, this is a beginner mod. We're like at the beginning of this module, and you guys are rolling 27s. My goodness. In any case, you might say what you said plus more. Whatever you say, you are using every little bit to your advantage. This is sort of like,
maybe I'm using some of my skaldic knowledge to like recite some of the. Not that I have skaldic knowledge yet, but like
right.
I have knowledge local, so
Yeah.
I'm using that to be like, remember you did this, and you have this story about you, and this story about you, and
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You are a hero of note. Legend nearly.
He likes it, and the reason he likes it is with a 27, you're buttering him up in a way that isn't buttering him up. In other words, in fact, would you also give me a sense motive, Geek of Fury?
Can't do that yet.
I have a little bit of info for you. I might have a lot bit of info for you.
Yeah, no.
No. Okay, we'll give you the little bit. He likes what you're saying, and you get the feeling that you worded it like at a 27 level, which is excruciatingly carefully and perfectly tailored to the man. You get the sense that he would not like an untrue buttering up. Somebody who doesn't know him coming up and going like, oh, you're so powerful and so important. Oh, everybody likes you. Everybody admires you. He'd be like, shut up. But you couple it with some knowledge about him. Like you said, you mentioned something that he did.
I mean, if you want, I can also roll the knowledge local if you want.
You can, but I'm less worried with the 27. I'm less worried. Even if you get a low roll, you're going to do great. But you didn't get a low roll. You did great. Good Lord. So
29 plus 2.
So basically what happens is you say just the right thing. And he suddenly gets this new look at you, and he's like, you're going to be interesting to watch. I feel like you're not a big, dumb warrior. You're a big, smart, shrewd guy. I'm interested.
Indeed.
I have no idea if you actually are. I'm just saying that's what Maegar
No, I mean
Varn.
he's more intelligent than average because 10 is average and he's got a 12 int. He's not very wise at all, like very not wise.
Yeah.
But he's intelligent and he's charismatic, and like I said, I'm moving into Skald, so I'm gonna have I'm gonna have magic and knowledge, and I'm not gonna stay just a beat stick.
Yeah. We're coming to the end of where we can go because we've got to wrap up, but I want to give you a conclusion for this first game day that at least gets you safe. So I'm gonna give you a quick little overview of what happens on your first day of journeying, and put you to your potentially the location you're going to sleep at. Your first day of journeying is going to be quite populated. As you leave Restov, there are still people who came into the city for the adventure, for the competition, and they're now leaving 2-3 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later. And so all along the road, there are people. And because of this, you feel very like, no, there are no brigands here who are going to go at you. Like, the road is populated. In addition, you're going to find that you're going to get some hangers on. And what I mean by that is nobody's being mean or anything, but there'll be people on the road and they will see you and clearly recognize that you guys, especially Maegar Varn, you guys are heroes who won competition. And as these people are leaving Restov and going out on their own, you can see some of them are just like, we can follow behind the heroes. Then if something bad happens, maybe we're okay. So by the time you're done with your first day adventure, first day moving, it isn't just you guys. You're already a big posse. We've got 3 hero groups out as you're like going toward Nivakta's crossing, the first town. You also have a bunch of, other NPCs who are just sort of on the periphery, who are just they're clearly on the roads too, and they start trying to match your pace a little bit. Some can keep up, some can't. And then let's talk about Nivakta's crossing, and we'll wrap up. So,
Okay.
I'm going to show you a couple things about Nivakta's crossing. Okay, here we go. Show to players. This is a real-world photograph of a real-world town. I cannot tell you the name of this town because it's lost in time. I found this photo literally like 2 years ago when I first imagined that I might run Kingmaker. But what's important about this town is it's along the length of a very large river. It just goes on and on for quite a ways. And this town has literally the same population count as Nivakta's crossing. And it looks quite rustic here in this photo. I don't see a lot of cars in the photo. In fact, I don't think I see any cars in the photo. There may be some things about this photo that are off from Nivakta's crossing. One of them is I believe Nivakta's crossing is lightly walled. And the other thing is I don't think they're going to have a lot of
the
glass.
satellite dish.
Do you see a satellite dish?
Yeah.
I don't see it, but yeah, there's definitely not going to be a satellite dish. But this should give you a really good feel for what Nivakta's crossing is like. Add in a wall, add in, let's expand that river out, make it even more insane. In fact, wait a second. I think I pulled a new image for you guys. Do I not have the new image? Show to players. Show to everyone. Here we go, guys.
Oh, neat.
This is very close to what it actually should look like. The one small problem with this is that it does have the river bending pretty hard, and it's really not supposed to do that quite like that. But it should be walled. It does have a bunch of wooden houses inside. There are supposed to be something like 117, 120, 130 people inside. And if you sit here counting up all the people, all the little dots on this image, you're going to get up to something like 60. So about half the town is actually visible right now. So it's really not terrible. It also got descriptions. We gave the AI descriptions of the river itself. We talked about the Strike River and how it's got a lot of fish and birds. So you can see that the image did try to adhere to that. It does throw a lot of birds into the image. It does have good waterways and so on. So it's not perfect, but it is an interesting idea for kind of what you're going to see as you come rolling into town. Okay, so having told you about those two things, the last thing to do is to give you the map if I have it. Yeah, I think I do. I think I can move you to it. There we go. So this map I'm giving you right now is Nivakta's Crossing, and we actually played on this map once already.
I'm gonna say it looks awfully familiar.
But I'm going to show you the whole thing now. This was us doing a test. We did a test run for my viewers. We did a test run of the characters a few days prior to us actually running this campaign. And they got to see half of the map, and now we get to see the whole map. And you guys are going to note something interesting as you come into town, and that is, because the town is relatively small, it doesn't even have an inn. It doesn't have a thing for visitors. It doesn't have a place for you guys to stay necessarily, except there are 3 red boxed areas on the map, and those are houses that can be rented at 2 gold per night. You can squeeze in 3 people per building, 3 people into that little 10-foot area. So technically there are up to 9 people that can be resting in these homes. And if you're interested, technically the 4 of you in a group could go into one, because you have a tiny little fey creature with you who can either rest at the foot of someone's bed or literally flutter into like a hammock or something and rest.
I was about to say, I do actually have a hammock. I bought one.
Yeah. So technically, because you guys have some small sized creatures, you could go for a single house for all 4 of you, if you're interested in that. If you don't want to stay here, you can do other things too. And if you want to be here and like ask questions or do other things, we can do that this time, or we can do it next session, depending on how eager you are to go.
Is there a common grounds or anything like that where we can just pitch tent and camp?
Well, outside of town, absolutely. In town, they wouldn't want you pitching tents, but you can see if I ping it for you guys on the left side. There's a large area with a walkway that leads towards some of the farmland, and that area is just open space, and it's large open space.
I like this little spot.
Ping it. I don't see anything.
I am.
Oh, are you really? I don't see it. Hold on, let me move. Ping it again.
It was
It's
right
the
next to
thing
where
with
you
a
were
bunch of
pinging.
little rocks or whatever.
There we go. I see your pings. Absolutely. You might have to move some rocks there so you're not laying on top of rocks, but you could absolutely do it. No problem.
Well, I bought 2 tents. Each tent can hold 2 people, so we could camp out if we don't want to stay in someone's house. I'm not offended by
I'm
that.
kind of low on money, and I have no problem with being outdoors.
Yeah.
Works for me.
So you come to Nivakta's Crossing. You see that Nivakta's Crossing has some very small accommodations, and you're like, well, just pitch tents outside of town. You're outside the wall, unfortunately, but it is a nice little spot. It's not like Nivakta's Crossing is getting raided or anything. You are north of the border. You're out of the stolen lands. You should be fine. In addition, this town has suddenly become overrun with heroes. So large groups of people are vying to get those 3 little boxed houses. And so people start trying to, people start trying to argue about who's going to get the houses. And the small bidding war is going to take the 2 gold per night for the house, up to about 5
That's
gold
what
before
I
people
figured.
relent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to leave it off right here? Do you want to ask any questions about the town?
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is there any opportunity to hunt and do that kind of stuff to not use up rations?
Oh, absolutely. You could. Now, your big issue is typically to hunt and get game. It's a day-long activity, and you spent your day walking and talking. However, I did note that you arrived here early because you didn't push to go your full 2 hexes, which means there's still time. There's still sunlight in the day. You would potentially have to do really well for yourself to have this work out. But if any of your allies also have survival skills, they can give you +2s and really bump your numbers up. You also can do, there are a number of other activities you could do that would be maybe potentially more guaranteed to get you results. For example, if you guys own fishing poles, you're literally along the river. And if you sit and fish for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, you are almost guaranteed to get a bite.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I bought a fishing kit. I want to do that.
All right. So we've got Shadow at the very least, or Shadow's character, Eloria, going to the river's edge. Shadow, you are going to meet some people along the edge. Typically, these are going to be, as you're out there fishing, you're going to find a lot of teens. Like, the town isn't that big. Like I said, like 130 people, I think is what it was, which means you're only going to have 20, 30, 40 teens. And the rest of the population is adult or very, very young. But you're going to find like a gaggle of them out here. And what's weird is they're quiet as hell. Like, these kids are not being rowdy, loudmouth kids. And you realize I shouldn't say you realize pretty quickly. Give me a sense motive or a raw wisdom check, whichever is a better bonus for you.
I'm okay. One second. I'm okay at sense motive, but not great. I'm only +2. So I just have to roll well. Let's see. Oh no! I rolled a 6.
That's your worst result. Yeah, you're a little perplexed. You come to fish, and just dotted along the shoreline are a bunch of kids. Some of them are clustered together like they could talk. They just don't. They're just all quietly fishing. Anybody else need to do anything?
Would a knowledge nature help with the survival check?
No, it actually would need to be a survival check for this, for scavenging
Okay.
for food. Yeah.
And since Zephyros.
Zephyros.
Since Zephyros is gonna do some hunting stuff, I go, oh, here, take this. And I pull out a little booklet out of my pocket and I pass it to you. It's a guide to flora and fauna, and it will give you a +2 on checks to get along in the wild. This feels kind of like that.
Now, did you double check with that one? Is that the one that you need to read for an hour in the morning before you get the
No,
+2?
it's not.
It's not? Okay, great.
No.
Give him the +2 then.
Here, take this book.
Excellent
Okay,
work.
thank you.
And did you do a survival check
I'm gonna
Oh,
do it
for
right
fishing?
now.
Or you mean
for
okay, never mind.
Zephyros?
Sorry,
This
sorry.
doesn't include the +2, and it was terrible.
No.
Yes. So
So it would be 11.
yeah. So Shadow, why don't you also give me a survival check? Well, technically I really want it to be profession fishing, but you don't have that. Give me a survival
It's
check.
true, I don't.
We'll give you a small disadvantage because you don't have the correct skill, but it's still surviving. We'll see what you get.
Okay. Oh, I gave away my book,
You
so it's
did.
not as good as it was.
And I wasted it.
I have a cool. How long does it take to fish? Because I have an item that will give me a big bonus, but it takes twice as long to do things. So I don't know how long I have to sit
Yeah,
here. Am
you
I allowed
would
to use that one?
you would be up till midnight if you did that.
Okay, I would prefer not to do that. So in that case, I'm just +3.
Ooh, okay. Give me that roll. Hope you roll high.
No,
Ooh, it's rough all around. Damn. Okay.
I gave away my cool stuff.
We've done everybody except for Gawain. Gawain, what are you doing while these people are all failing badly to get food for themselves?
Hmm.
Probably
Oh.
laughing at us.
I'll gamble for food. How about that? Is there somebody in town I can bet for food?
Sadly, you will not find anyone. I'm not even going to give you a check for it.
Small town, not a big gambling den.
There are notes about the town which note that there are rather severe people, and that despite the fact that they are essentially the last stop before Restov, they're not even friendly to visitors, which is a weird combination for a town like this. But what it means is, basically, as you come into town, they're interested in taking your money for one of those little houses they've got for available, but they don't have a tavern. They have no place to gather, and people are off on their own homes, and they're not friendly to you. Now, I would say they're not hostile either. I don't want to portray them like they're actively trying to hurt you. They're fine with you being there, but as you wander around, going like, does anybody want to do some gambling? Anybody want to make some bets? People are just looking at you like irresponsible. No, like nobody wants to do it.
This is what she was trying to get away from in Restov. So yeah,
Yep.
she'll just set up camp and eat a ration.
All right. So
And wait for everyone else to shamefully come back and eat their ration.
so that's
Can I
what
not catch a single? That's sad.
that's what I was going to say is at the end of all of this, none of you have got survival checks that are good enough to provide for yourself, which means you'll all have to burn rations.
That's fine. Can I make tea?
Oh, absolutely. That doesn't need a check. Do it.
Yay. I'm gonna make
Well, I'm
tea.
sure as we level up, Zephyros will have a better and better survival check.
Of course.
Yeah,
Am,
don't count
am I
on it.
assuming? Am I assuming too much? I as I recall, you were saying you were going to cover survival, but maybe not.
Well, I'm gonna dedicate points to it. Doesn't mean I'm that good at it.
All right. Well, I think we're probably going to wrap up here. I'll give you one last thing we could potentially do, and that is, do you guys want to do anything with this town before we start our next day, which would be you guys moving on toward the next goal?
I mean, I'd like to refill my water skins with fresh water, but other than that, not
Okay.
really.
All right. Anybody else? All good? Okay. So as we conclude our very first day of our very first campaign with our very first adventure, you guys find yourselves in Nivakta's crossing. You have passed competitions to be given the opportunity to do this. You've been given a writ, which essentially will mean at some point in the future, if you can succeed on your mission, you potentially will actually become lords and ladies. You potentially will have castles, keeps, or whatever. But for now, the mission that you see facing you is you've got to get to Oleg's. You've got to get south of Oleg's. You've got to start clearing the area of any harm and establishing yourselves in the area as new lords of the area. So we'll start the next game day with you in Nivakta's Crossing. It'll be the morning. We'll have you all rested, and you guys are going to be able to pick up and do whatever you want to do next. So that's where we'll begin on our next time. And with that, I want to say thanks to the viewers for watching, and I want to say thanks to my players for playing. And I would also like to give my players one quick opportunity before we go. I want to give you the regular push, like and subscribe, do whatever you can do to help this channel grow. But also, some of my players have stuff they might want to talk about or promote too. So I want to start with Geek of Fury and just say, do you want to let the viewers know anything about you?
Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, I'm a Twitch streamer, so you can find me playing all kinds of games, but mostly RPGs at twitch.tv/geek_of_fury.
I'll put it on screen.
Yeah, I usually stream Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and right now I'm playing a lot of Skyrim because I love that game a lot.
Yeah, it's actually been kind of fun to watch you play it, and I'm glad you are doing it. I have to tell you guys, I did not know that Geek of Fury was so good at Skyrim, and so he's been kind of giving me a lot of lore because I'm now playing Skyrim on my live streams too. And all of a sudden, Geek of Fury showed up in my live streams, and he was like, this and this and this. He starts dropping facts and stuff, and it was kind of great. Because I don't know anything about Skyrim. I'm learning as I go, but it's been really fun. For me, my live streams, I'll put a URL up on screen for myself too. And then we can fast forward to Shadow. Do you want to let gang know anything?
Not really. I don't do social media all that much, but I'm excited to play in the game.
Excellent. Zank, do you need to let them know anything?
No,
Good.
not really.
And Gawain, do you need to let them know anything?
Nah, I'm good.
Excellent. Thank you guys
We're
for
all
playing.
boring.
Thank you guys for
Just-
playing, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.
Down by the aldering where the foxgloves lean, I found a door of bark and thorn half hidden in the green. A pebble on my tongue, a grin behind my teeth. I turned the little silver latch and let the secret breathe. Oh, the path began to sing, oh, the moss began to glow. Every leaf was listening.